Hey everyone, yeah, I'll just take over real quick. Hey everyone, I am Sam. I'm one of the admins here at the Chromatic Chimera. I am our accessibility director. Chris was letting y'all know that this is our 2-year anniversary tonight, so thank you all for joining us. As part of our celebration, we are also not celebrating, but honoring Multiple Sclerosis Awareness Month, which is the month of March. All this week through Saturday, we're going to be donating all proceeds from subs, bits, and cheers, any merch sales to the National MS Society, which is a nonprofit that handles research for treatments as well as assists patients and their families with resources for patients who have multiple sclerosis, which is an autoimmune disease that affects the nervous system. So if you can, please donate. Otherwise, we're just really happy to have you here, just watching and, retweeting us to help get the word out. Will help encourage more donations and awareness. So thank you so much, everybody. And that's it for me.
Yeah, I now have my microphone activated. What you didn't hear is happy 2 years of Chromatic Chimera and my failed little thing. I knew it would fail, but it makes it even better. So
that's okay. We have the video. Yep. I can still make a terrible gif of it.
Yeah, we can cut
that's
that,
happening.
Right? We can edit that, right?
Edit it in? Yeah.
Edit in post. So anyways, thank you guys for being here. Thank you, players, for this wonderful ride of 2 years. It's also 2 years of Agora's Bells, because that was one of the founding shows, and now it's coming to an end. Sad. So we are all already in our feels for the evening. But yeah, I guess we'll just go into it. I'm feeling kind of weird about just rushing in, but I guess...
What choice do we have?
Yeah, what choice do we have? We gotta finish this out, right?
We're just gonna stream forever, right?
Yep, I think
forever.
So. I think that's how a campaign goes. So, the world of Silencia has had time to heal. It's been 10 years since the events of last episode, and the events that have now been dubbed the War of the Plains. It's different, it's less turmoil, there's not as much action, it's actually kind of sleepy in parts of the globe. It's not as chaotic, there's nobody really trying to rule the world or tear it down, which is honestly a nice change of pace. The Wrong Turns have been up to their own things and together things in the past 10 years, and we'll hear more from them later. But first, today is the anniversary of a very special day. So, as the Wrong Turns, you sleepily wake up and roll over in whatever bed you now reside in. You hear in your head a familiar voice of Hancock, the skeleton butler. And he says, I was supposed to wake you up today. It's a very important day. Your wake-up call is a little late. I'm sorry about that, but you need to get through the portal and transport to the bookends as soon as you can, because everyone's waiting on you, and don't be late. Sorry again. Have a good day. And he just kind of abruptly ends the message. And you all just kind of like, this is probably the first that most of you heard, unless there's probably Adrian's probably up doing the morning routine already. But the rest of you may be sleeping in a little bit. So yeah, I guess take me through, let's wait on epilogues, but take me through the process of you guys getting ready and what that looks like, I guess. Is it chaotic? Is it, have you chilled out in the past 10 years, or are things kind of the same?
As a human, Adrian ages quite a bit in 10 years, and she was in her mid-50s when their adventure began, so now she's in her mid-60s, and yeah, she's still a solemn grump, but she's softened a bit.
We wouldn't have her any other way. Anybody else having a chaotic morning, or are you prepared and ready to go?
I think Chase's kind of has to be chaotic just by virtue of where she's at in life these days. So she's gonna be rolling out of bed at the tavern, getting getting the family and stuff ready to all load into the portal up at the keep. Maybe King Jax is gonna come and meet, maybe we're all gonna head there together. Actually, that would make a lot of sense, I think.
And in his older years, King Jax has definitely mellowed out a lot, especially after the injury. So he hasn't really adventured much anymore. He walks around with a big old walking stick now, and him and Aurora are usually seen together, never really seen apart from each other, except for when King Jax wants to go hotbox and grow place like home. And when he tends to what he tends to, but he's mellowed out. He's not as chaotic anymore.
I feel like I should probably note real quick that it's been 10 years, and Chase was the youngest in the party, I think, when we started at 22, so she's only 32 now. She's actually a year younger than Sam.
Wow. Yeah, King Jax started it. Well, the Yetis didn't reach adulthood till like their 30s, so like he's like now in his 40s or whatever.
Sarin hasn't really changed much. She has allowed herself to add some crow's feet to her eyes, and she has allowed, just a touch of silver to tinge her hair, but not by much. Just enough to know that she's aging like a fine wine.
Bryn's the same. She's an elf. 10 years is nothing.
No, it's got nothing. Sarin has spent her time with Bryn, really. That's really all she's been doing. Besides occasionally checking in on the Weave, she does, pretend to care about her job. So, but the rest of it has been spent with Bryn.
Okay, so the 5 wrong turns, I'm assuming you all kept in touch, and it's not a weird thing, but the 5 of you meet as you walk through the portal back to the bookends, the place where a lot of this started, not necessarily began, but where the adventure really kicked off, and you found your first, home.
I'd like to comment.
Sure.
It has probably been at most 2 weeks since Bryn has seen somebody else in the group.
Sure.
At most.
Yes.
I'm curious, is everybody who's been, we can get to this point, I guess, but were a lot of us still hanging out on Star Touched Isle? Because that would also sort of determine on how much we've seen each other. Yeah, because that's pretty amazing.
Bryn, again, a lot depends on what happens with the staff and their flashback, but
gotcha.
She probably doesn't live there, but she's around a lot frequently.
Okay.
There's a library there. What?
That
True.
Sarin is super proud of, and hosts tours for all of her band accoutrement that she has
My God.
gained over the past decade.
I love it.
Amazing.
Bryn's life's mission is now to read all through the library on Star Touched Isle and organize it appropriately.
An amazing.
That's her life now.
So the 5 of you step through the portal, giving quick pleasantries to each other, and you are instantly greeted with the flash of light that you have all come to know at this point, and you are instantly transported back to the bookends. In front of you, you see a big banner that says 10 years, War of the Plains, and this has basically become a holiday in the New World, and, you guys are celebrated at large, but mainly just the day that Matriarch has fallen. And, there's instantly, you hear the rush of music and the smell of, basically fair food kind of hit your nostrils, and you are just instantly transported back here, even if you haven't been here since the last time the wrong turns were canonically here. You see in the streets there's banners and little kids running around playing fair games and festival games, and you see a few very vaguely familiar faces. You do see, Roper, the blue dragonborn, the grumpy old man, he has now like a sample tray out, and people are running by sampling his ales, and he seems a little bit happier. He's not yelling at children, and he's in a better mood these days. But yeah, you just see a lot of these very vaguely familiar people. It's that weird, reunion of, we're not really friends, but we give you a head nod kind of thing. But you're just instantly happy to be here. Until this point, you're feeling a little bit weird. But Kit walks up to you all, and she is, again, an elf, so she looks essentially the same. She has long white hair, kind of always up in a ponytail, some ribbons tied in it. She has these, like, glowing pink pupilless eyes, and, she's maybe, a little bit more aged, but she was already pretty old when you first met her, so... today is probably, I will note, the one day you have ever seen her without her swords by her sides. So she is feeling a little bit more relaxed in these times. She walks up and she spills half a tankard as she rounds a corner. She's like, "Wrong turns! The heroes of the festival!" And she comes up and she kind of drunkenly gives you all a hug, since she was pre-gaming this morning. And she kind of,
save.
Yeah, same though, IRL. And she kind of gives you all like a hug and, handshakes for those who would prefer. And she's just happy to see you all. She's like, come, I've got a table for you all ready in front of the house.
Oh, that's fantastic. How's the attendance this year, I guess? Like, looks like a big crowd.
Yes, we're ready for the 10th year of the festival. The 10th year is always the big one in any festival. 10-year anniversary, 10-year, whatever it may be. This is today. It's the big one.
Yeah, already.
And she kind of looks around and smiles at all of you and does kind of take in those of you who have aged a little bit and just kind of enjoys that a little bit, knowing you from when you were a little younger.
Yeah, Chase is she's actually removed like all of her face and ear piercings now, and her hair is like growing out a little bit, so she's definitely looking a bit less of like a wild, party cat.
Party bard.
Yeah.
Yeah, and so you kind of wind through the familiar roads, and you do find Risker's Tavern nestled by the Glass Lake again. It is a lot bigger than it was. He's definitely added on in recent years. There's a few extra wings. There's like a banquet hall in the back. It's almost classy, and so not quite, but almost classy in some areas.
Oh, Riskers. I will always miss this place, even when I'm just arriving.
I'm glad for him expanding and all, but he could have at least made the architecture match the rest of the building. That whole facade is two different materials. Chase is kind of judging his choices right now.
I don't know. He was probably working with what money he had best laying around. That's just your opinion, right? And it's worth noting that King Jax totally has traded in the armor and the ready to go look for just basically he's dressed like the dude from The Big Lebowski at this point in his life.
Wearing a bathrobe?
Just basically a bathrobe, walking stick in hand. He dresses for comfort these days.
I love it.
Oh my god.
He's got a bowling ball. Yeah. So Kit leads
I would
you.
like to
Oh, go
say,
ahead.
almost classy could not be more on brand.
For us or the wrong turns?
I mean,
Both.
yes.
All of the above.
And so Kit leads you in the front door. Sorry, I'm cleaning up my streamer incident. And Kit leads you in the front door, and it's bustling in here. There's so many people here to celebrate. There's people that you vaguely know and people that you actually know. You see Mr. Micah sitting by Risker and just kind of up at the bar, and he's got a heightened stool for gnomes, and so he can, sit the same height as everybody else, and he's just looking good up there in his little green three-piece suit. He's he's gained a little weight maybe, but it's been 10 years, so hey. And he's looking good, and he immediately waves you all down, and you'll catch up with him later. And Risker, biggest point here is that he's still behind the bar, but he does make direct eye contact with you all when he walks in. And he slides you a few drinks and claps you on the shoulders. He's like, "It's good to see you all. You've been good patrons throughout the years, and I'm hoping today that continues." That's a joke. You're drinking on the house. Bad joke. And he just kind of smiles at all of you, and he has like a table set on the top of the balcony, kind of. There's other tables, other people on the balcony, but that's just kind of where he's placed you guys for today. So yeah, that's kind of where we're at. But at this point, before we really get into the role play, I would like to do our first flashback of the evening. So for the chat and everybody, we're going to be kind of telling the story of the wrong turns through a series of flashbacks and kind of seeing what they've been up to, and then we're going to let all the players read their just story so far and what they did in the past 10 years, but we're just going to kind of be doing this through flashbacks a little bit. So we're going to start with Bryn. Bryn, take me through what you do directly after the War of the Plains.
Well, first things first, I'm going to go back to the Star-Touched Keep. Alone. I'm not telling anybody where I'm going. I'd like to use... We still have our teleportation circle there, right?
Yep.
It needs a corresponding circle to travel, or no?
It's fine. Epilogue purposes, no, it does not.
I would like to teleport myself back to the outskirts of the Moonbright Forest, please.
Okay. So you have that same flash of light that I described as you went to the bookends, and you find yourself back in this forest. There's magnificent greens and blues all around you. Some of the trees actually a little softer blues, and there's a lot of flowers. And as you get deeper into the woods and kind of start walking to your destination, it is a little more dead.
I actually wrote a thing. Can I?
Oh yeah, please.
Read it?
Yeah.
The Moonbright Forest is lush and green and lovely. Sunlight streams in through the tangled canopy, gold and green through the leaves. Birds call among the branches, high, high overhead, flitting through the cathedral of soaring trunks and shadows. Bryn follows the path of a thin, silvery river, flanked by thick reeds and rushes, narrow stripes of yellow sand and pebbles, deep into the woods, until she reaches a large clearing. A thick carpet of leaves coats the long, undisturbed ground. Not even the animals have dared enter it. Half hidden among the trees, both on the ground and perched in the branches on either side of the river, wooden buildings languish, overgrown with vines and moss, thick drifts of rotting leaf litter caught on the roofs, dripping over the edges without anyone to maintain them. Though the magically reinforced wood has resisted rot and water damage. Bryn stops in the middle of the clearing, close enough to the water that the tips of her boots sink into the sand. Even now, after so many decades, she can still smell roses. She doesn't know if it's real or if it's her imagination conjuring cruel memories. She plants the staff in the dirt and stares at it. She's alone, even Azil isn't with her. She looks at the staff and she says, "Okay, we are here."
I'm muted. The staff, you feel it almost like pull towards you and extend itself towards you, like willing itself to come forth. And you hear the voice, now out loud, no longer in your head, say, "This is where the tragedy occurred. I can feel it. Well, you lived up to your end of the bargain. Matriarch is no more. So you will have a shard of me to use as you will."
I do have a question before we begin. I made somebody else a promise when I found you that if I was able to find a way to use you and bring back my family, that I would do my best to bring back hers. Is that going to be possible?
There's a long pause, and there's no sound that fills the glaive at a second. For a second, you think maybe, like, I fucked up. I shouldn't have said that. And then, again, the voice kind of resounds out from the central location of the staff. And it says, "I traded your family for Matriarch's life. If there is something else you wish to offer me for a second family, I can do that as well."
Sarin helped. Matriarch would not be dead without her, so doesn't she deserve the reward as well?
She was not offered the deal.
Right. What else could I offer you?
Well, in this new world where I am the only demon lord left standing, one would need subjects or power, or a mix of both. If there's anything of that nature that you possess, now would be a good time to yield it.
Oh, this is a shitty fucking idea. I will pull out my staff that has the ecrix embedded in it. Will this do?
You watch as like these black like smoke like tendrils pour out from the staff and it kind of envelop over the ecrix staff.
You know that song that's like, here comes a consequence.
There's another longer pause, and the demon lord answers, "If this is a trade you are willing to make, I will sign it."
Okay. The defeat of Matriarch for Clan Anadoria, and the ecrix staff for Sarin's family.
So it is done. And you watch as like the smoky tendrils like take the, it's almost like your staff breaks for a second and it's reformed without the ecrix inside of it now, and the ecrix is pulled forth from it.
That ecrix saved my life so many times.
And it is taken away. Poor little ecrix. Oh man, that's gonna be fun.
Sorry guys, I'm so sorry.
Damn it!
I'm so sorry.
And you watch as the staff explodes out with this like blinding white light. It was a like dark light at first, but then when it combined with the ecrix, you watch as the two forces like propel against each other like magnets and force the light out from different sides. And you hear these terrible like howls and screams throughout the grove for a second. And as you watch as these bones are reformed. And suddenly there's people again. And you watch and you see faces that you knew a long time ago rise from the dirt in the place that they were last slain, in the makeshift tree homes that they had built. And you watch Clan Anadoria rise from the ground, one by one.
Bryn's already crying, but like most of the masses, she kind of doesn't pay them much mind. She runs, like drops the staff and sprints for a door on the other side. It has in Elvish, it has the name Lielo carved into the door, throws it open, sprints up the stairs. She's barely breathing, takes them two at a time, slams the first bedroom door she finds open. This would be her little sister's room.
Yeah, your little sister sitting there. If you want to describe her, she's exactly how you left her.
She'd be in a nightgown. She got sick not that long after Bryn. She's maybe, if she's the age she was when she died, she's maybe the elven equivalent of 10. She looks a lot like Bryn, this dark kind of bronze skin, this long red hair. Her eyes are a slightly different shade. They're more hazel than green, but otherwise they could be twins.
She looks up at you. Oh, go ahead.
Bryn slams the next door open. She takes one look, makes sure she's alive, slams the next door open. This would be her brother's room.
Yeah, your little brother's there too. He's kind of spread across the floor as his, was his resting place, and he kind of sits up and looks up at you, and you see your little brother the way you left him.
Bryn is fully sobbing now. Imagine the rest of her family has heard someone slamming doors open now and steps into the hall.
Probably.
She looks around. Her mother and father, her older brother, her older sister, all these people she thought she lost. They all look quite similar. They're very clearly family. This darker wood elf skin. Some of them, both her brothers have more brown hair like their father, where the women kind of inherited this very, very red color. There's a mix of green and hazel and gold eyes. Bryn takes one look around. She's on the floor, sobbing.
Yeah, between the tears you see in front of you, and you feel like your head kind of be placed in someone's hand, and you see your mother. Saradwin kind of looks up at you and smiles, and she gives you a sweet kiss on the forehead and kind of tucks the hair behind your ear and says, You actually did it. I didn't expect when we talked. I didn't expect to actually see you again.
That was really you. Well, I wasn't sure.
Yes. And she just gives you a big hug, and she's crying at this point too. And there eventually it just evolves into like this big group family hug. The younger members are probably like, "What's going on? Why is Bryn being so weird today?"
And also, the last time she saw them, Bryn was 13 or 14.
Oh, true. Yeah.
She was a little girl.
Right.
So they're probably very confused.
Yeah.
And she is basically reverted back to 13 or 14. She's just clinging.
Mm-hmm.
She's probably older than her oldest sister at this point, which has got to be weird.
Yeah. You just feel your mother kind of running her fingers through your hair and just kind of like looking at you and taking you in as everyone kind of looks at grown-up Bryn. And they're just it's a scene of confusion but happiness, where it's kind of one of those like I'm not arguing things, and eventually your father comes over and gives you a big hug too, kind of all on your knees at this point, just like this big hug pile. And some of the younger ones taking the lead from their older members, or know that this is okay and it's not as weird as it might seem, and they kind of give you a hug too. And yeah, you hear the noises outside of other families having similar reunions, and you feel this like warmth in your chest, knowing that you were able to do that not only for your own family but for the other ones in the clan as well.
So she's going to step on. She's going to check on her still living grandparents. She's got 3, all of her cousins, of whom she has like 4 or 5, I think. And then she's going to start checking on her friends and all the people she knew as a kid.
Everyone who was living the day that Yadvi came to the Grove are still here. You got them all.
She's going to summon Azil back now that she knows she did it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, she's going to stay here for a while.
Yeah, Azil gives you a brush up against the leg, and this one is different. It feels like you're back home in a full sense with Azil there too.
It's probably going to take her a couple days to decide. This is real.
Mm-hmm. I'm sure. Yeah. I'm sure there's a few moments where you walk into someone's room and double check, even if they're having alone time or something, and just double checking to make sure that everyone is okay. And there's feasts and celebrations and whatever traditional ways that Clan Enadore would have, and everyone is so thankful for you. There's a few that come up once everything kind of settles and people realize what has happened. There's a few that come up and just honor your sacrifice and kind of give you hugs, and even people that you barely know, like in the clan, like there's the outside like ring that you didn't really know, maybe even they're coming up and just like giving you hugs, and there's a few gifts at your door every day. There's like little baskets of goodies and things like that.
The gifts and stuff, it's very sweet. She's probably not going to accept very many, because that's not why she did it.
Sure.
And I think at some point she's probably going to extend an invitation to the rest of the Wrong Turns to visit the Moonbright Forest if they want to.
Sure. You want to do that now?
Up to y'all.
Sure.
Okay.
Chase would absolutely accept.
Absolutely.
King Jax will also
Of course.
Right? So because it was originally Clan Endora's job to kind of keep extraplanar beings out, it's difficult to teleport into the Moonbright Forest, so they'll probably have to meet on the outskirts. When you get there, I think Bryn probably looks happier than maybe you've ever seen her before, ever. She doesn't have her staff anymore. I think she probably left it behind, and she's still wearing some armor because it is magic forest with various nasties in it, but yeah.
Saren's immediate response is to just go up to her and just cup her face and look her over. Are you all right? Everything's okay?
I am more than all right, Sarin. I did it.
You did it.
And I made a deal for your family as well, so we can go there as
You
soon
did
as
what?
Mm-hmm. We just have to go to the place they died, and we can bring them back to.
Thank you. And I'll kiss her and then sort of like not bonk my head against hers, but just light love tap.
Forehead touch, yeah.
Yeah.
After a minute, Bryn's gonna pull away. She's crying. Her makeup's smeared.
Oh, yeah. No, Saren's weeping too. She's right there.
I'm gonna say that as the visit goes on, people in the group are probably very surprised that Adrian just fits in so naturally with elves and is just able to connect with them very easily. And is actually more sociable than you've probably seen her before.
This is perplexing to Bryn, but she's happy. Wrong turns. Welcome to my home. Would you like to meet my family?
Of course.
I mean, I
Beautiful,
thought we
Bryn.
were your family, but
Oh.
yeah, we'd love to.
Can
I'm
both
just
be my
kidding.
family. So
I'm just kidding.
she leads you over. There's one. There's a collection of about 16 elves with the mix of brown and red hair that all bear some resemblance, some stronger, some weaker to Bryn. 3 of them are very old, even for elves. They've got kind of silver in their hair. Some of them are quite young. And she starts introducing you one by one to her family, to her mother and father and her 4 siblings and her grandparents and her aunts and uncles and her cousins.
Just like you.
Yeah, again, Adrian is just very quick to. It's like she knows elf customs better than she knows human customs. Having essentially grown up with her best friend being a high elf, so she just she fits in naturally here. Which, yeah, she probably hasn't told many people.
Jack's probably actually also really gets along well because he's now married to an elf, and so his elven's probably very good at this point. It was really good before. His common's probably okay. He's probably picked up another language or 2 in the years.
I think Chase is, she's being very friendly as usual and is all immediately just starts regaling Bryn's younger siblings, especially, I think, with stories of Bryn being a total badass. And just being, she's remembering how good it felt when she found her father and saved him and her mom and stuff. So she's really, really happy that Bryn is getting to have this feeling that she knows Bryn hadn't really been expecting to be able to get either. So she's trying to talk you up to your family and fill them in, but in a way that's not stealing your thunder, if that makes sense.
Bryn's a little awkward, but she appreciates it. There's a weird it's a weird dynamic now, having missed 70 years.
Right.
So it's a little odd. And you may be surprised considering Bryn, but these elves know how to party. So there's dancing and there's a big campfire and storytelling is kind of a big deal with the elves. So they love you, Chase.
Oh yeah. Oh, she's gonna be like playing them like all of the songs that Chase has written, like about
Yeah.
things that have been happening. So, and this is like right after like pretty shortly after everything that happened to you, right? So
Mhm.
Chase will totally be partying with them too. Like she's like, I'm gonna learn all the like old school elf drinking games. Oh fuck, I never heard of this one. What's this? You mean you never heard of coppers? All right, let's go. Like,
If you lose King Jax at some point, which you probably do because he likes talking to people, you probably just hear in the distance, "Have I told you how I became the king of the ogres?"
all right, we need a counter. That's one.
Okay, Jax, never change.
And then after that one, and then there's the one about the stone giants.
Oh my god.
And that woman over there points towards Adrian, "Through just as far as the stone giant king."
So I think it's probably worth noting at this point that I would imagine that the wrong turns as a whole probably spend a day or two here, and then Bryn probably spends a lot more time, obviously. But I think it's worth noting at this point, Bryn, that the first day that you revived your family, when you do look out, and you probably don't sleep much, you're catching up with everybody. You do look out to the grove, and you see
She's
this.
probably scared to sleep. She thinks if she wakes up, it's just gonna have been a dream.
Yeah. You do see, leaving the grove, you see this, it's this giant form towering over even the tree, like some of the trees, the smaller trees here, and you see this red-skinned, like minotaur looking form, and he has golden ram's horns, and it's weird because his back looks like it's been poured with molten gold, and it's hardened over him like a shell, and you just see this like silhouette like leaving the grove.
Mistakes have been made. It's fine.
So yeah, if you want to watch the
It's our
campaign
next
that I'm
life
gonna
to deal
run,
with.
if you want to watch the campaign that
Anything
I'm gonna
else
run
problem?
when Alex is doing Woven Realm, you should
I
tune in.
saved the world
Oh, really?
once. Saved the world once. I deserve this.
Yep.
It's fine.
So that's all. You're not sure. Again, it's like probably 4 a.m. It's late. You're not sure if that was like a bit of a hallucination after a high stress day or what. But
As she's going to look at this, be like, "It's probably bad, but it is no longer my problem."
that's my next character.
Yes, big same.
That's awesome. Yeah, so there's a lot of time spent there. And before we get to any other flashbacks, we'll cut back to present day 10 years later at Riskers. And Bryn, at this point, you see your family around one of the tables at Riskers, enjoying a few drinks, and they've brought some of their traditional pastries from the Grove to Riskers, and are kind of handing them out and being super friendly and kind of enjoying. It's been 10 years, so they've reassimilated into cultures, and they're enjoying this little trip, and they wave at you but know that you're with your friends, so they'll come say hi later. And they acknowledge you, so you see them there. Yeah, so at this point, Mr. Micah comes up to you all. You see his pudgy gnomish form kind of ascending the stairs, and taking every stair carefully. And he comes up and sits down. He's like, "Oh, hello, Wrong Turns. It has been so nice to see you. I am so excited that we get to spend a little time together." And he brings his little special stool up and sits on it next to you guys, and he's like, "So what have you all been up to?" "Well, this is what I've been up to," and he just completely interrupts you as you start. And so we're going to read Mr. Micah's epilogue right now.
Yes!
Pull that up.
Oh, this is the best timeline.
I love him.
So, Mr. Micah, in the days following the War of the Plains, Mr. Micah, watching his oozes melt through demons on the battlefield, decided they were a little too dangerous to be used as healing ointments. Instead, now he uses his gelatinous cubes as street and sewer cleaners. He has contracts in several big cities that he oversees. With the new money from the contracts, Mr. Micah dumped all of his time and resources back into creating healing jellies, without the potentially dangerous side effects. There are few, but if you look hard enough, you can still find stores named Mr. Micah's Jellies tucked away. And so
That's
he
fantastic.
regales the tale of how he got city contracting work, and is now, a street cleaning service.
I love it. We love one Mr. Micah.
We do. We do.
We really do.
True.
He's the best.
Around the same time, you do see a woman walk in to the what's the name of his tavern? I don't know, just Riskers. Is that it? So he walks in, or she walks in, and you notice that she has a short bob cut, blonde. She's wearing these glasses and this nice fancy dress, and this is the Nance, the one and only, as she made it to the bookends. And you know that you've heard of Nance's epilogue by now in these past 10 years. You don't need her to come tell you. So Nance's epilogue, as many good business owners, Nance has since franchised Yes We've Opened. After paying actors that somewhat resembled the Wrong Turns to play in an arcane commercial endorsing her store, business really took off. Her biggest claim to fame is the day the Wrong Turns entered her shop and the gift of love one of them gave that came from her very first shop.
Amazing.
Amazing. I love it.
Fantastic. That
And
is so damn good.
you've all
Oh.
seen the commercial and were probably outraged by it.
Wait,
as
how do
were bad
commercials work?
caricatures. I don't know.
Chase loved it. I guarantee you. Chase was like, "This is awful," and I'm so behind it. Also,
It's-
loyalties. I want 10%.
Yeah.
Commercials in this world are literally a troupe of actors that go around in their little caravan, stop in towns, do like shows,
Amazing.
advertising different
Right.
products.
Every once
She
in a
had to
while, you
hire
hear,
some distant cousin of Chase's to play her.
Amazing.
"Oh, hello, I am King of Ogres." And
They
you
just-
hear
they
that
just
through the
hired a-
streets.
They just hired a dude to play Adrian, and she
And
and she
Brian would
loves
play
it.
And
And
she loves it.
She loves it. This is Jack.
Sounds like
dude.
a buff dude.
It's just a big buff guy. Shield Mom, what should we do? I say, bonk.
Bonk.
It's so accurate.
So good.
So that is what a few of the NPCs are
So
up to.
happy.
We will get to a few more fan favorites later. But I think probably now, if you guys just want to take some time to RP, I mean, let's go for it. You guys want to
My
just chat as
goodness.
old friends at the table?
Yeah. One small detail I think is when like Risker gave everybody our drinks and stuff, Chase would have taken hers, and when we sat down, would have very quietly just slid it over towards King Jax.
And Kane Jax has no problem drinking it.
How the tables have turned. How long are y'all planning to, be staying in the bookends, I guess? I mean, we still got the Dryad's Den kicking around.
Oh, beans. Well, you see, Aurora and I were actually going to be using it as a wee bit of Agora B&B. That was our plan too. So I say, bring all families. We all have good time.
It's actually not too bad of an idea. We weren't really planning to be away from Poor Choices for so long, but, Cal can deal.
Yeah, well,
What
Aurora.
choices?
Oh, yes. You all would know that Chase and Cal, who are still together, have bought the tavern on Star Touched Isle and renamed it Poor Choices.
Phenomenal. Very good.
A
And that-
plus.
And down the street is a small apothecary / dispensary / I guess sort of a therapist's office as well. Grow place like home. So Kane Jackson Blossom
my
just hang out all
God.
the time.
Terrible.
Thank you.
Yes.
I want a divorce.
It's so good.
I have
It's
a
so
new
good.
party, please. I'm just kidding. It's really funny.
So that's also why she was so judgy about Risker's expansion choices. She was like,
This place sucks
my
now.
professional opinion, whatever.
I drink way more than Risker.
So, yeah.
Okay, so you guys are just enjoying, each other's company. Again, you guys get together still, but it is nice to get out of the island and kind of celebrate somewhere that has so much nostalgia. So if we'd like to just go ahead with the next flashback,
Sure, why not?
I think probably
Mhm.
sequentially Saren's would be next because it is somewhat in the same vein. So,
Oh. Well, Sarin spends most of her time with Bryn, unless Bryn feels the need to go off on her own like she did with her family initially. And while Bryn is gone, Sarin hoards band materials like some sort of dragon. And she takes pride in the fact that because this island is essentially no man's land, there are no rules. So she's not technically breaking any laws. And then when Bryn tells her that she made a deal to get her family back, when Bryn was next in town, she would have taken her to that very, very, very small village in the middle of nowhere. This is the inn, and I'm not quite sure where the bodies were left, but I think it's in this general area.
I suspect this is close enough. I'll pull out the staff and I will activate it.
okay. You can see now that the staff has, since you probably haven't looked at it a whole lot since you left your family in this weird like flashback timeline. It's almost like it's half full at this point. It doesn't light up inside anymore. It's a little more gnarled and it's kind of overgrowing, and it's you're about to use its last charge essentially. And so you watch as a familiar event to Bryn. The tavern's probably closed at this point. It was probably just a little shitty tavern on the side of the road.
Yeah.
So it's probably like an abandoned building that you just have to kind of kick through.
Fine by me.
Yeah, it's dusty, it's dingy, but it's a hard place to be.
We save the world. We don't give a shit about closing times.
No, closing. And so you break through the barred up door, and you find Sarin, the scene that has haunted you for quite some time. Things aren't super different. The layout's pretty much the same. There's just less people. And Bryn, you kind of watch as, I'm assuming you're just gonna go for it. Yeah. You watch as again the staff snaps in half, and all of this black energy just kind of flows forth onto the ground, and it seeps into the floorboards, and it actually pulls up some of the floorboards, and you can tell that this place is just getting destroyed and through this process, and some of the wood is ripped up, and this area where a lot of trauma took place is kind of being destroyed metaphorically and literally. And so you watch as this, it's kind of gross, but the bones reform and humans retake their shape. And Sarin, you see before you your family, if you'd like to describe anybody or anything like that.
Sure. So Sarin only has 3 family members. She has her male presenting non-life-giving parent named Raze, and she has Seer, the life-giving parent. Prefers Seer, but could also go by Zaza. Rin called them Zaza when she was younger. And then the third person is Yaz, who is Rin's younger sibling. At the time, by about 5 years. 45 years. And they are all they actually don't appear human as they come back. They have gray skin and white eyes and white hair. They're all changelings, just like she is. And Sarin just bursts into tears, and obviously her family has no idea who this woman is. So in the midst of all her sobbing, Sarin is going to drop Sarin and just be Rin and say, I can't believe you've left me and then you're back and so much has happened. And
Yeah, there's definitely that moment of like, you know, your family kind of taking in these strange two ladies who just revive them for no reason, and then Bryn just kind of leaves, and then you're just kind of like left with this, you know, this woman, and they're very shocked, and it's a weird situation, right? Just like Bryn's family, they're a little surprised at first, and like, you know, and then once they see, you know, Rin's true form, they you know, break down on their knees a little bit and just start sobbing as they kind of just hold you. And it's a very similar scene, but a unique one as well, in the sense that, you know, it's a smaller, tight-knit group. And, you know, that love that you've always felt is still there. And you just feel warm again in your chest, and they kind of pull you in close and give you cheek kisses and hugs and, you know, whatever affection that Rin's family would typically show them. So, you know, Yaz looks up at you after a while, and they're still very young because they were just revived. And they just kind of like slip their little hand in yours, and something that you probably had felt before, and just kind of hold on tight for a while, and that you kind of walk out of this place after you're done having this moment, and, you know, physically put it behind you. And from the outside you see that the tavern is just kind of like crumpled in on itself, and as you walk away it just kind of like collapses in.
I was gonna say, if that doesn't happen naturally, I make it fucking happen.
Yep. You don't have to try too hard if you want the satisfaction of bowling it over, sure, but there's a lot of, you know, dilapidated wood and things like that Bryn kind of set in motion of destroying. So it's the last place the wrong turns will hopefully blow up. So you watch as it just kind of collapses in, like the sides bow, and you and your family are kind of left there talking. If you want to have any moments with them, or is it just you know, a loving family moment?
Just a loving family moment. I will introduce them to Bryn, of course. And the whole time I'm actually holding Yaz like a child, because they were my sibling. They are my sibling. And yes, I lost my parents as well, but everybody loses their parents eventually. You shouldn't lose a younger sibling. And so I'm really just holding on to Yaz as hard as I can.
Yeah, you know, like I described, you guys kind of just walk away together, eventually, assuming probably teleport, but I assume that there's probably less words spoken with this one than there is, you know, Bryn's family coming back, and more just sentiment as you all just kind of hold each other close, because again, you were this tight-knit little group who only had each other. So yeah, I think there's a lot of unspoken feelings happening as you just kind of head back.
Yep. Look, Sarin had to learn her quiet and don't tell anyone anything personality from someone.
Sure. Okay, so that brings us to the secondary Sarin flashback I wanted to do. So about 8 years later, so in the timeline, I guess you're 2 years back from the 10-year celebration, if that makes sense. So, you know, you've been spending time on the island, doing your thing, hanging out with Bryn, like you mentioned, and now you get to spend time with your family too. And they've probably taken up a spot close to you, so you can at least spend time together now that everyone's back. And Yaz probably loves the waves and the water as they get to kind of play and enjoy living on a beach, basically, and anything that comes with that. So there is a time, there's a flash of bright light one day at the Startouch Keep, and you see an old Kenku man, Quill, who is even older than he once was, walking through. He's even grayer in the cheeks and the beard area, even though birds don't really have beards, but his feathers are just graying. And he walks through and he's like, Sarin, I've been trying to get a hold of you. And he's instantly into a rant. And he's like, halfway through the rant, he's like, oh, it's good to see you, by the way. But I've been trying to get a hold of you. You need to select an apprentice. The order is getting very cranky that you haven't done that yet. It's been 8 long years, Sarin. I know you've been focused on other things. And it's great that your family's here and you've found, you know, a relationship. But you have to select an apprentice.
Of course, Quill, and of course I've selected an apprentice. And I just look over at Yaz, being like, work with me here.
They're like, flipping through your books, like not ready, a little scared, but eventually they're like, and they just kind of shrug towards you.
This is my sibling. This is Yaz.
Oh, well, I'm sorry for my rant then. And he goes and he bends down towards Yaz and he kind of pats them on the back and he's like, well, Yaz, is it? And they're like, yeah. They just kind of like let out a little squeak. They're a little older at this point, but still probably intimidated that an older dude just kind of teleported in and started ranting. And Quill kind of looks them over and he smiles at you, and he just kind of goes up and he's like, I'm sure they'll do great. I know another young changeling that made quite the order member. Then he just kind of smiles through his like half-broken beak.
Oh. I'll squeeze his wing, feathers, whatever, hand, and just be like, well, it was time. And, Yaz has always been, and I hate to admit this, smarter than me. So Yaz always did have a penchant for things like this, so I think they'll do very well.
All right, well, teach them everything I taught you and hopefully more.
I certainly hope so.
All right. I'll see you soon, Sarin. Don't be a stranger, okay? I'm not
Are
too
you
far.
not staying, please?
Well, I could stay for tea at least, and if you're
At
offering.
least stay for tea. Also, I'm very proud of you for teleporting here. Good for you.
Well, don't tell anyone, but I have, taken up a little research in my off time. Now that I don't have an apprentice running around getting into trouble all the time, I have a little quill time for once.
You sly bird. Come on.
And the two of you have tea on the little lake view and kind of have a nice little evening, and he gets to know Yaz a little bit, and Yaz is nervous but excited that you're going to officially take them under your wing. And yeah, so there's a nice little scene, and you kind of look down and see probably the rest of your family join you at some point, and Quill gets to meet everybody if it isn't a little late.
Nah, I definitely introduced them all to Quill.
I'm sure.
Yep. Unless Quill introduces himself first, which is
That's
equally possible.
They probably come in mid-rant when he's like, and that's why my name was Quill. And he's like, oh, it's Quill. Nice to meet you. And he gets up and shakes hands with everybody.
The ogres, what?
So that will end Sarin's little flashback. And we will cut back once again to see Quill hanging out at at Risker's, just hanging out, and Sarin's family is running around, and Yaz seems to have taken to Quill pretty well, and Quill's showing them little cantrips and things that he knows, and Yaz is probably way ahead of him and already showing him bigger spells that they know. Like, Yaz just casts a fireball, and Quill's doing, prestidigitation, so.
I've already taught Yaz how to fill people's lungs with water.
Amazing. It's never too early to learn that.
It's never too early to learn. Because sometimes the void does have lungs.
True. So, yeah. So I want to give you guys time to just RP and hang out as the wrong turns too. I don't want to commandeer the whole session with flashback stuff. So if you guys want to just vibe in the tavern,
Right? It's
Feel
weird
free.
because it's like, I also am waiting to see what happens.
Yeah.
you want to get through that
Right.
first.
Yeah, that's what I kind of want to do,
Maybe.
because it's like that's how we can show
Yeah.
what our characters have been up to in
Let's
a
And
get
then
sense.
through
we
that,
can
then.
just focus on the, then we could just hang out in character, I guess.
Yeah, let's
That
do
would be
that.
fun.
Okay. Do we want to do King Jax, you want to read your epilogue and do a flashback?
Sure. Didn't know if you had a scene in mind, because I
do,
don't.
yeah.
Okay.
So King
Okay.
Jax, I'm assuming you go home at some point. So-
Yeah, I mean, I can read what he gets up to, and then we can do the epilogue.
Yep. Okay. That works.
Afterwards.
Yep.
I don't. It's not as flowery as Lucy. That was so wonderful what you read. I'm gonna feel this is just a history. This is just a biography.
Thank you.
After suffering from the severe wounds inflicted by Agora, King Jax all but had to give up the life of adventuring. But he was okay with that. He had been through enough with the wrong turns. He'd seen enough of the world and became a king twice over after all. I mean, we've heard all about that. And King Jax took the time to construct that temple to Bulin Yang on a star-touched isle and even returned to the bookends to build that temple, much to Rober's dismay. Let's see. And then he traded the Disruptor Maul for that of a more peaceful walking stick. He kind of gave up the life of a warrior in the end there. So during his time off, traveling and doing some more missionary work with the aid of his loyal ogre and giant subjects, King Jax could not ignore love, as next time he found himself, he was in Aurora's company, and they ran away together, because why not? We were all rooting for it anyway. He did take up one final adventure, though. He did take up Bryn and Sarin's offer to go look into that wild blood magic stuff, and that's where he kind of learned to perfect his herbalism to open grow a place like home. So anyway, going into the kingly years, he was a king for about 6-ish years. The ogres and the giants looked to him. He was less of like a king and more of just kind of like a spiritual leader for the giants and the ogres. And after 6 years, he was just kind of like, yeah, I'm done. I'm going to pull George Washington here and just retire out of principle. And he appointed Bulin their new chief when he left. He made Bulin Yang their new chief and said, well, he's a much better spiritual guide than I'll ever be anyway. And tales say that the great Yeti King disappeared on a silver ship into the mist of the sea. So he took that much needed time off. Him and Aurora did get that place on the beach that he was talking about. But he always felt guilty over the amount of violence and death he was responsible for during his adventures. And to make up for that, he decided he wanted to bring more healing into the world. So he came to know those spirits, as he came to know the spirits of the afterlife and perfecting the art of spell toking, as he referred to it. He had perfected communicating with these lost souls that he could interact with, and he kind of became a spiritual guide to them, helping them to overcome whatever tethers they had to the mortal coils and allow them to pass on in peace. So like in his adventures, KJ found a way to make the best with the hand he was dealt. And it is worth noting he always maintained an effort to remain in touch with all the wrong turns. He views them as a family. Constantly writes, visits, invites everyone over for an annual reunion on candle nights. He always hosts candle nights. He doesn't, even if someone else offers, he's like, no, that's my holiday. And he always saw the best in everyone and still believed in everyone having the potential to do good, and still believes that Tiamat has the potential to bring good into the world. He openly admits he's happy to have retired from adventuring during the... if and no one's retired yet, it'll come up in the scenes later, he'll just be like, why haven't you? It's great not doing shit. Kind of like the scene where Bryn was just like, yeah, I'm done. This isn't my problem. Like, King Jax has that attitude too, where he's just like, I've done my time. So he happily lets his tales of being crowned King of Ogres and Stone Giants remain the stories, and happily allows his name and mighty deeds of his companions that they achieved be taken into history. And just wants to continue to live a quiet, peaceful life.
Outstanding. So, I'm gonna imagine that when you went to tell Bulin that you were gonna put him in charge of the Stone Giants, that this is when this scene takes place.
Okay. Is
So
that what you originally had in mind?
Nope.
Okay.
So you're back home on the Bronze Summit Mountains, up at the peak, and you're sitting on the side of the world smoking with Bulin. And you know,
Righteous herb.
yeah, you just finished telling him that you want him to take over, and you know that whole thing, and that you're retiring. Like, he basically, you tell him your epilogue of what you want to do, and you know he passes it back to you, and you know, he says, can I tell you honest for something, King Jax? Can I come clean about something with you?
Yeah, sure. You can always come clean with me, especially when we're talking.
All right. Well, hopefully we remember this in the morning. But anyways, I will take you somewhere quick. And he gets up and brushes off of his leathers that he's wearing and kind of starts walking towards the peak of the mountain where your village is. And he takes you up to his house, his like inherited home, basically. And basically, Bulin Yang became an arch existence when he solved the Elder's puzzle in the Yang clan. And so he takes you to where the Elder's puzzle was, and as he's taking you down the stairs, he says, "Oh, watch that step right there." And there's like a little stone that's overturned, like faced up and kind of jagged, and you kind of trip over a little, and he helps you down. And he says, I need to tell someone this, but the day I solved the Elder's puzzle, the day I ascended to Arch Existence, it was a complete accident. I tripped on that stone right there, and I knocked over the puzzle into the right position, and whoever solved the puzzle becomes Arch Existence, so...
And I'll put my hands on his shoulders and be like, Bulin, live, bro. It was fate that made you an arch existence. It wasn't solving the puzzle, much like how Ecrix, the elements of a dragon star god itself, decided to choose me. It's not like I went out seeking it. It was fate that you became the arch existence.
Yes, that is what I came to realize as well. Arch Existence does come with perks. I am much wiser than I was then. So the first few years I struggled with the fact that maybe, I wasn't cut out to do this, or I wasn't meant to help people, and I was just meant to sit on the side of the mountain and smoke herb. But, as I started working with people and I started seeing people's faces, I did realize that, maybe this was what is meant to be, and there wasn't an accident. But you have to admit, it is a pretty funny, like, Bulin story. Like, oh, who else but Bulin?
That is a funny story.
Yeah.
Oh, that classic Bulin, tripping over a stone, becoming arch. Look, I flubbed my way through my big adventure. Us wrong turns, it was just basically failing forward the whole time. I can see clearly now. And everyone worships us as great heroes, when in all actuality, I had no idea what the hell I was doing the whole time.
Well, as long as that doesn't leave right here, I think that we can agree that we both are very prestigious, and we did exactly what was needed for our people.
Indeed, and, well, Bulin, I always believed in you.
And I always believed in you. I knew that letter I left when I died was, it was true. I knew that you were meant to do this more than me, and look at you now. You're in charge of Stone Giants.
Yeah, well, now, but, beans. It's a lot of responsibility, man. I just want to go fuck off and live on the beach with Aurora. Like, I'm tired of the cold mountains. Blossom introduced me, Keith too, they introduced me to the wonders of the tropics. And I think I'm gonna stay there for a while. Maybe write some beachy tunes, become a bit, open a place for, righteous herb. This is a gift that needs to be shared, right, friend?
I think so too, and I will come visit whenever you want. I am not far away, so...
And I think I've left the perfect man in charge of my people.
Well, I hope so. I hope that, maybe I can come get some wisdoms from you, old man on an island living alone, but we'll see.
I won't be alone.
It was just you get it.
Oh, I get it, but come on, you know me. I like talking to people too much to go be a hermit.
Talking too much is correct. But yes, I...
Only Bulin would be able to get away saying that to King Jax.
But regardless, Livbror, I am so proud of you. It has been a journey, and when I was in Scream Hoarder, I had a lot of time to reflect, and it was basically a jail cell in there, and once you broke it, I was free. We don't need to rehash that old story, but I had a lot of time to reflect in there, and I just felt that I was never scared, because I knew that you were still out here doing what is right. And, someday maybe you trip downstairs and become next Arch Existence.
No. I am done. I'm retiring. I'm quitting. I'm gonna live off that fund I built up with the chapters of brass, and live off my pension plan that Adrian helped me set up.
All right. He goes over and he finally, after 30 years, fixes the stone in the floor.
It's like, about the damn time.
He just kind of kicks it down a little. He's like, well, you can't blame a guy for trying. I was trying to get rid of it, but...
And like, as we're going up, he's gonna wait a few seconds. flip it back over and run back up. Oh, did I tell you? Bryn sent me a wonderful reading list, and I think there's a book or two you might like on there.
Alright, I'm not going to be doing much, so except for managing stone giants, so.
Oh, there's one about socializing with ogres.
Oh.
Belching is a compliment to them.
I will work on it.
And that's the last piece of wisdom I have to pass on. Belching is the highest form of compliment to ogres.
Well, you are the king of ogres, so I must trust your word here.
Wait, one more piece of advice. Also, if you really need something to get done, look up my man MF and he'll take care of it for you.
MF is a valuable member around here. I don't see him leaving anytime soon, and you see MF is like, carrying like 3 trees back to the village.
Oh, I knew he was cut out for our people the moment I met him.
Yes. Well, Livror, I will come visit as often as you need, or as less often as you need, and he just gives you like a big hug.
Oh, you're always as we're hugging. Oh, you're always welcome in my home. Just don't bring them. Points towards some of the ogres that are like, some of the dirtier ones.
I'll do my best.
The obvious butt scratch.
I will also do my best to keep affinity clear of wherever you are at.
If she makes me say one more wedding, I think I might lose it.
Yeah, that would be terrible. And he just kind of like pushes you through a portal behind you. He says, "I'll see you soon, Livror."
See you soon. And then that's when there's on the coast, on the shimmering, icy, rocky coast, you see the cold sea titan on the horizon, sailing away for one last time as King Jack sets out for a very well-deserved retirement.
I guess now, honestly, would be a decent time to give the Flea Keith epilogue as you're on the cold sea titan.
Yes!
So, where are we? So, Flea the lizard folk fighter never quite grew up. He stayed a member of the Cold Sea Titan crew. During the War of the Plains, they were caught in a particularly nasty storm. A whirlpool opened beneath their vessel. With Keith's expert sailing, they managed to avoid being consumed. In the aftermath, though, they saw a figure swimming towards their ship. A blue-skinned Ganassi man was hauled aboard, a familiar person to Flea. He had finally found his friend Krakatur. The two friends were brought together in not the greatest of circumstances or places, but remain friends who adventure together to this day and hopefully always will. Whenever Flea comes to bring the Star-Touched Isle goods, he brings Adrian's new weapons or things to use as weights for her gym. Recently, he has taken to bringing gifts to Callan as well. The two get along mainly because Flea never matured past a strange 15-year-old anyways. Krakatur and Flea try to bring Callan into their misadventures to Adrian's chagrin.
She was definitely not happy about it, but she's stopped trying to dissuade him.
And now would be a good time to go into Adrian's epilogue if you've got anything.
Yeah, I mean, I didn't have anything like written down all fancy like everybody else, but I mean, I envision after saving the world and almost dying multiple times, or maybe not saving the world, I don't know, stuff happened, and Adrian is just old and tired now. So she made arrangements with the chapters of Brass to do some to be as retired as Adrian would ever allow herself to be, essentially. So she now works at the chapters as their like in-house physical therapist for all the adventurers. So if they get seriously injured while they're out on an adventure, they can come back to the chapters of Brass and get treatment so that they can get back to 100% to go out adventuring again. And she doesn't need to be out adventuring. She really only came out of retirement in the first place to save Callan. So now that she doesn't have to be out adventuring anymore, she's happy to stay at the chapters and provide help to the youths.
Generativity there. Yeah. Talk me through what Callan gets up to.
So, for a while after everything, happens, she would never tell Callan what he is and isn't allowed to do. But she definitely does her best to encourage him to maybe take up an apprenticeship, and not so casually leaves brochures around for like carpentry and welding, and Micah's Jellies is hiring.
This one's got a scholarship.
She's, just leaving this stuff nonchalantly all over their living space. And obviously it all just goes straight into the trash, but she pretends it doesn't and keeps trying. But after a while, Callan's like, all right, I want to go be an adventurer. And I found this weird lizard boy who wants to go on an adventure too. So Adrian is against it initially, and then she realizes it's Flea and Keith and Crackatur and whatever. She doesn't know Crackatur, but he looks okay. And she's like, fine, go. Here's some money, but if you die, I will kill you.
He is just amped to go do that, and that was the biggest the flashback scene I had with Adrian is just Callan just kind of like that conversation of like, please can I, as he's growing up. It gets a little deeper but at certain points, but that's about it. And that just kind of stays. So
yeah, she never says no, but she always puts it off, like, oh, we'll talk about it when you're older, like we'll talk about it when you're 15, and then he's 15, and we'll talk about it when you're 17. Oh, I don't know if you're old enough yet. You haven't finished school. You need to finish school before you go adventuring. Stay in school, kids. But she never actually said no, so...
Sure. So as you finally, let go a little bit and let him leave for the first time with Keith and Flea and Crackatur, the odd group of adventurers, you do have this like sentimental moment where you're like, I hope that I'm doing the right thing in Thane's eyes, and but you as you have this feeling, which you've probably had for a while, you just all of a sudden out of nowhere you just feel this intense wave of calm come over you, and you know that Thane is looking down on you, approving of everything that you've done with Callan, and thankful for all the stuff that you've guided him through. And this sense of calm, like, it stays for longer than Adrian's probably ever had it. And it's a nice feeling, and one that Adrian has definitely deserved after her lifetime of war.
Yeah, after all this, it's nice to finally relax a little. She still does her 10-mile run every morning at 4 a.m. Of course,
well, that's just for fun. Yeah, that's not.
Well, yeah, that's just for fun.
Okay. And if there is not anything else for Adrian, we'll move on to our final epilogue flashback scene with Blossom Chase for a while.
Oh boy. Yeah, so I'll just read the blurb that I came up with for her. So after the War of the Plains, Chase continues to struggle with her trauma and guilt issues, but she does eventually find a measure of peace. She decides to focus on reforming her family connections with her parents and Breezy, and trying to give herself a full life, one that she never expected to have. Chase and Cal remain a couple, They never formally marry, neither being interested in needing some legality or religion to declare the relationship valid. And they live happily together, spending about 5 years in the immediate aftermath with the Wandering Dusts, getting to know Chase's parents as she really wanted to get to know them for real. Chase performs with Breezy, rather like the old days, for a little while, and Cal gets goaded into filling in on the high elements after Chase tells everybody how well he did on the tightrope way back in that very first Candle Nights. After about 5 years from the finale battle, the pair decide that they want to settle down someplace stable for a change, and they buy that main tavern on Star Touched, renaming it Four Choices. The specialty is Chase's very own wine developed up at the Keep called Wandering Wines, named for her family. She spends most nights playing music at Poor Choices, either herself or with various musicians who come to visit, usually family members, while Cal manages the front of house business and tends bar. He's about as gruff and grumpy as ever. However, not too long after buying the tavern, Chase and Cal have a child together. A daughter named Nimble Shadow, or Nim, who has black-purple fur, very like Cal's, but with faint gray leopard rosettes and Blossom's large amber eyes. Strangely, though, I guess not strangely, but Nim inherits a level of Cal's Displacer Beast genetics, and much like her father, has a set of Displacer tentacles that she can recede and retract at will. And also seems to have inherited some strange consequences from the deal for arcane power that Chase made with Nock, and Nim is born a sorcerer with blue arcane energy flowing through her very being. Chase had never really thought about kids in her entire life, but after a few years she realized that she really wanted a chance to create a better one for someone else, to make a childhood that Aunt Thunder, air quotes, could not ruin or endanger, and she finally felt like she was in a stable and safe enough environment to do so. Chase struggled with her drinking for years, trying to stop but always going back to the bottle when her guilt and trauma resurfaced. Anniversaries of particular events, like her first flight from her family and the battle at Carnivale, are always the hardest times. But when she and Cal decided to have a child, she became determined that she would stop for real to ensure a better life than hers. Chase enlists the help of her live brewer, Kangjax, who stayed on the island, to stop drinking, and it's a major challenge for the rest of her life. She does have a few lapses back off the wagon over the years, but with the help of Kangjax, the support of Cal, and the future of her child in her hands, she manages to get back on her feet, sober, each time. In general, she sets out simply to live an unremarkable and stable life after saving the world, and revels in it, even if she complains sometimes about being bored. And she's surprised by how much she thrives in a stable and domestic lifestyle. Just, full of peace and quiet, or at least some peace and good music. And that's what Chase has been up to.
I know there was talk about King Jackson Blossom having that scene of Chase asking him for help. Do we want to do that?
I am totally down for that. I don't know if you had anything in mind either, Chris.
I do, but we've got all night. I don't care.
Yeah, I'm down if you are, Alex.
Yeah, I'm down. I think I actually messaged you.
I
still
just
down to do
saw.
that scene.
Yeah. So then I think the scene would have happened. A little over 5 years ago, maybe almost 6. She probably shows up at King Jackson Aurora's house, maybe with some munchies for him from the tavern.
All right.
But yeah, so she's knocking on the door and has this big box of snacks and is like, hey, King Jax, how you doing?
Oh, I just saw you earlier today. I'm doing good. How are you?
I'm good. Sorry, we just we had all this extra baked stuff up over at Four Choices, and thought you might get some better use out of them.
Oh, thank Boolin. The ogres just stopped by again. They eat us out of house and home.
Oh shit.
Thank you. No worries. They like to come by. They like to sometimes, and he's going over, putting the snacks into a little pantry. They come by. They actually ask for some advice and stuff about brain goblins and things, and and they just kind of, that's why they also just get hungry, because feelings make us hungry, and I understand that.
I mean, I get that in my own way, I guess.
Yeah.
You happen to have like a minute just to talk?
Yeah, sure, you want to take a seat? And, directs towards, like, comfy-looking lounge that looks out towards the beach.
Yeah, she'll come and sit with you for a minute, but she's like grinning really broadly and she looks really excited about something. Like she'll sit down and then she stands right back up. She's like, all right, so I kind of wanted you to be like the first one to know,
Okay.
but Cal and I are gonna have a kid.
And he jumps up and, like, his injury acts up again for a moment. He's like, oh, beans.
Oh, easy.
And he kind of, like, hops towards you, gives you a hug anyway. Oh, that's so exciting. Oh, that is so exciting. I am so happy for you two.
Thanks. I'm kind of freaked out, not gonna lie. Just hoping I don't fuck this one up.
Oh, please. Look, I turned out okay in the end, so I'm sure little baby, little kitten will be okay.
Yeah, well, I know they'll have pretty much the most protective family I think anybody could possibly ask for between my folks and all y'all.
Yeah, well, don't worry. Uncle King Jax will make sure anybody who gives young one trouble gets a fair trouncing.
Well, actually, just sort of, I do have a favor to ask.
Anything for you.
I really gotta do right by this kid, King Jax, and, I mean, you've met my family and see how easily we, fuck things up and make bad choices and stuff. And I gotta make sure that, I start things off, right this way, this time. I need you to help me. I need you to help me stop drinking. For real.
And he kind of just he's got the wisdom of more years now, so he's definitely not the same. He's not just smoke pot instead for once. He looks at you really seriously, and you can see he's in his eyes, he's proud of you for saying that. And he just kind of says, and the fact that you want to stop was the first thing I was looking for this whole time. Because now that you have the desire to stop, we can work towards this now, and I am more than willing to go on this adventure with you.
Thanks, King Jax. I think I'll be able to hang on myself till, they're born, at least. But afterwards, I'm just, I still have trouble remembering everything that's happened over the years, and I can't risk this. Not this time.
I completely understand, and as I said, I'm there with you. I will make sure that my house is always open to you, and I'm always here. And I could even do for you what I do with ogres. I've helped some of them kick some nasty mushroom habits.
What do you do for them?
Well, we just sit and talk about our feelings, or at least their feelings, and we kind of delve into the past and where those behaviors come from, and why it becomes a coping mechanism, why we decide to self-medicate.
It's probably not a bad idea, I guess.
It's not. It does help, and I know it's funny coming from me, Mr. I own a dispensary with my wife. I know that's very funny and all, but...
I mean, I own a fucking tavern, man. I know this ain't gonna be easy for sure.
Yes, that is going to be a major challenge to overcome, because part of the battle is removing ourselves from the temptation.
I mean, Cal's being supportive, of course. He's trying, but I mean, you also know me. If he tells me to do fucking anything, I'm just gonna do the opposite out of spite because I can. So.
Oh, and that's why we all love you too so much. But you're right. But it's okay. You're both partners, yes, but you can't solve everything for each other. You just can't. Unfortunately.
Right. So, I mean, thanks, Liproar, because...
Of course.
I don't think I'd be able to do this, without you here at all, so...
Well,
I'm glad to have you.
Well, I am proud of you for making this decision, and I'm so excited for you and Cal, and don't worry, I won't tell anyone, and what happens in Beach House stays in Beach House. That's been the rules for the past 4 years now.
It's all right. I mean, my folks know and stuff, but I haven't told any of the others yet, so.
Oh, when do you plan on telling them? Oh, that's gonna be so exciting. Have you thought of a name?
Well, we're gonna wait to see first, Like, the cat folk, we sort of have like a tradition of, you when you're born, you actually, I don't know, this might be sort of similar to a Yeti thing, I don't know. We trim a little bit of the fur from any of the parents who are present, and you burn it, and you're supposed to be able to sort of like tell a name that represents like themselves in the smoke that rises. So I'm not really into it, but like my grandma was, and like, the clan like originally is like really into that old school shit. So especially with Gran not really around anymore, I think that would be a nice way to remember her.
I would agree, as someone whose title was once the Apothe King of Ogres and Giants, I would have to agree that holding on to a tradition like that is something that your family would appreciate very much, I think. And then Cal might appreciate it too.
Maybe. I don't know. I mean, his culture is kind of hell, so.
Oh, we've been there. It's
not really carrying any of those traditions over.
Oh, yeah. That's true. But, well, I'm sure you two will come up with something fun. You two are always fun. You're gonna be such great parents. Oh, that child. Make sure not to spoil
them. Oh, fuck, I hope so.
Make sure not to spoil them too.
I'll make no damn promises.
Look, what am I supposed to do as Uncle King Jax?
Oh, you're gonna be Uncle King Jax.
Well, I'm your live bror. Isn't the bror equals uncle, right?
I know, it's just hitting me now, all right?
Oh, beans, I'm gonna be
actually, there was one other real, right? Shit, I'm gonna be a ma. Actually, I got one more thing to, ask you.
Sure, of course.
When the kid is born, would you like to be their godfather?
And the tears start forming. Of course, that would be the greatest honor that I, former king of ogres and stone giants and yetis, could accept. And I gladly accept your proposal to be yet to be born, yet to be named child's godfather. And by the thunder, and he's like he's bringing up his magic, and he's just like, and I shall bless this child with my magic. And you just hear a roar from the other room. Kane Jax, are you messing around with your friends again?
I love it. I feel like that's a fun note to sort of like fade out from the scene.
Yeah.
Definitely. That one almost got me. I don't know. That was a tough one. So we got 10 minutes before break. Again, I have to take a break right at night tonight, but I do want to do one more thing real quick before, see if we can do it in 10 minutes. If not, we'll come back for it. It's not a one more thing. So
I don't trust you.
Blossom, it's probably pretty quickly after the War of the Plains, I would imagine. There's one night at back on the island that Breezy kind of comes up, and she's shy at first, and then she just kind of like plants herself down next to you. She's like, all right, let me get it out before you talk, okay? But I do have to say that even though I was brainwashed, I did mean what I said. I was seething that you left me behind, and we were a team, and it kind of felt like you were breaking up the band, so to speak, when you left. But the good news is I'm here to tell you today that I forgive you, because I get what you did now. I was tracking my ma this whole time, foolhardily thinking that I could stand up to her by myself, but the whole time I knew that I needed the other half of the band to do it. And so I made the same mistake you did, is all I'm saying, and I forgive you. And I knew that I couldn't do it without you, and you couldn't do it without me. So, and she just kind of smiles, and she can't really look at you yet, but she's just kind of like, strong jawing it over towards the beach or whatever.
Yeah, Chase gives her that space, even though it's really hard right now, and she's sort of doing the same, just like staring back out at the water, like we're not really looking at each other. She'd be like, look, I deserved every damn thing you said to me back at the bookends. I mean, it was really fucked up that I left you like that. I was scared, you know, you had already been turned, and if you weren't, I was afraid if I took you with me, I was just gonna put you in some more danger or something, and that's no excuse at all, but I shouldn't have done that. I shouldn't have made that choice for you. And I know you said you forgive me, but I still just gotta say, Breezy, I am so sorry.
It's all right. I really do forgive you. I've had a lot of time when I was trying to find, you know, whatever that demon was, to think about it. And, you know, I kind of realized, like I said, that I made the same error that you did, and that a family's supposed to stick together. But instead, both of us chose to split up. So I think that was foolish on both accounts. And I think it's okay now. And you know what? You got the clan back together, and you were the one that put Thunder in the dirt. So
I mean, with your help, I don't think I would have been able to finish her there, you know, without you. That was a real photo finish, as it were.
I did get one good hit off, I will admit that.
Oh, that was a real damn good hit. You were, like, not rusty at all.
Right? Haven't lost the touch. But it's not about me, but anyways, I'm glad to be here, and thanks for bringing me back to the island and let me see my uncle and aunt down there. And this new Cal guy seems interesting. I guess he's okay, but
yeah, he's pretty all right, I suppose.
It's a little grouchy, but
yeah, but I like that. You know, I was trying to find you after after candle nights. I came back to get you, but I couldn't track you down. Are you up for telling me what happened?
Sure. So when I clawed my way out of the prison cell, I was still pretty much under Thunder's and she's like pointedly not calling her mom anymore after the first time that she slipped up and did it today. And she's like, well, after, you know, I was just trying to find her. At first I broke out of the prison cell to get back to her and help her, but as I got farther away, you know, my mind began to clear a little bit more, and I just felt a little bit more myself, and I stopped thinking about how much I hated you and how much that I hated her. So now I don't hate anybody, and I'm just happy to be out of it. So I'm looking forward to what's next. And you know, truly, that was what I was doing the entire time. There's no big grandiose story about what I was up to. I was just trying to find her, found in places that I know she'd been and that we'd stopped in those past years while you were gone, and just trying to track her down and find her and take care of her myself. And I, you know, like I said, I put it all on me, but it looks like, you know, I could have joined you guys and helped you instead of being hard-headed and doing it myself. But that has always been kind of my thing, so.
Well, you know, for the most part, it's worked real well for you.
Up until this point, I'd say it's all right.
And I mean, it's not too late, you know. You can still come and join us. I've been talking to my mom and dad a bit, and I've been thinking about hitting the road again a little, just kind of for old time's sake. If you wanted to, I'm sure we could fix up a nice little wagon like we used to.
It would be nice to be like an actual carnival for once. You know, there was always
right?
underlying,
not like fucking...
yeah. You know what I mean? Like, it'd be nice yeah.
Yeah, I'd like to like not be stealing from the people I'm like doing shows for at the same time. That always felt like a dick move.
Yeah, and it'd be nice if the smiles that we put on were actually genuine. That'd be interesting. Yeah, I'm down to give it a go. I mean, I don't have much else going on. I'm not very employed anywhere else, so.
Well, I'll make sure we always got a place for you, Breezy. You know, gotta get the band back together.
All right. Well, Chris has got to go, so that's the end of that scene.
Yeah. No, that's a good ending place anyway. I was ready.
Okay.
Yeah. Oh, that's so
um,
nice.
Don't forget to donate.
Yes, please
Yes.
donate. We're going to go take a 10-15 minute break, and we will be right back for part 2, where I'm
Yeah,
just going
we're
to stop
half-
talking and let them roleplay the whole time now that everyone's epilogue is out there. So,
Yay.
so yeah, we'll be right back. Enjoy. Or what? See you soon.
Bye.
Hydrate.
Yeah, do that. And we're back. Thanks for bearing with us during our break. We are back for part 2 of the epilogue. Oh no, it's the final part.
No!
We're going back to break.
Countdown.
So with the wrong turns, epilogues pretty much cemented. We'll get to some more stuff, sure. I wanted to leave time to enjoy the festival a little bit and just kind of role-playing character. So if you guys, want to chat about what life is like now for the wrong turns and how it's different, or any cool events coming up, anything like that, now would be that time. So you're just kind of sitting at Risker's, enjoying some tavern music. You see a few people come in. The weirdest thing that happens is Yuri. Yuri is an NPC that lives at the bookends, and he's a storyteller. He has very intense eyes, but his face is always smiling. So it's kind of one of those people that, like, they kind of look like they want to murder you, but they're smiling on the face. And sure. And he is actually telling the story of the wrong turns to some of the children who are enjoying All Plains Day, which is as the holiday has been called now. So if you would all like to take it away from there, feel free to just chat about what life has been like for you all.
Oh, my heart. I'm like, I don't even know how to begin doing this. It's just, I'm gonna miss it. I don't want to start because then it's gonna end. Anyway, I don't think that's how that story actually happened. I'm pretty sure we killed 5 more giant alligators than Yuri's saying. I didn't scream at all in the water. I don't know what he's talking about.
Truly.
Mhm. I've heard it both ways. Yep.
Actually, fun fact, by the way, I think y'all will appreciate this. And Chase actually sits up straight and looks at everyone and goes, I learned how to fucking swim.
The cat can doggy paddle.
I mean, I can. I don't want to, but I can.
Don't you
That's
look like
fair.
a water walking? Do you need to swim?
I do, and she flips you off where the ring of water walking is on her middle finger. It's the only ring. It's the only ring she still wears. It's the closest thing to a wedding band she has. So that's just her thing. She's like, yeah, boop, ring of water walking, baby. So she'll be like, yeah, I didn't, really want to learn how, but Cal was teaching Nim, and I was didn't want her to be all scared of the water, so I figured it was time.
Where is Nim? Where's the little peanut?
Oh, I don't fucking know. Around here somewhere. I think Cal's got her.
She's adorable, by the way.
Aw, thanks. I think so. She's a goddamn handful.
With you as a parent, yes.
I mean, I don't know how. I have put that how to disguise in 20 different hiding places all throughout the damn tavern, and somehow she keeps finding it and goes running around looking like a little, I don't know, whoever one of you she's talked to last. Actually, it's pretty cute, but it's also really annoying.
In the distance somewhere, you hear
sorry.
In the distance, you hear a cart overturn, and Cal's like, "Oh God damn it!"
I'm just it's his turn.
Oh, there's Caesar's cart right over there. Oh, I've been waiting for this moment for years now.
It's been a while since we had any chasers, actually.
Yes, I wonder what he's been up to lately.
We can go over and get some. Actually, I don't think Nim would probably really like a cheeser sandwich.
Yes, I think we should go over and ask Cheezers what he's been up to for the last 10 years.
And then we go, I wonder, and look off into the distance.
Cheeser has Brody's Cheezers has they've had their ups and downs as a business. Okay, for a while they were bankrupt. But as Brody was taking a vacation, he actually came across a treasure of lost gold and re-put it into the business. And now he has not 1, but 2 Cheezers locations across the world.
Ooh.
You'll love to see it.
Where's the second one?
I don't know.
It's right outside the weave.
It's
Quill is
mobile.
obsessed.
Nice.
He has also partnered with Grub, who is the owner of Grubhub. Over the last
Yes.
10 years, Grub has expanded Grubhub far past his single cart delivery service. Now the wealthy CEO of his own company, Grub filed for a legal planar teleportation permit, an LPTP, and was awarded one. Now Grubhub can deliver from any tavern, restaurant, or market across the globe, from Hagermar to the Spire of the First King.
You should send that to like actual Grubhub. You need to.
Not sponsored?
I'll try.
Excuse me?
Call us fucking Grubhub.
Yo.
That's amazing. That's so good.
So,
I heard that Spire of the First King. Don't act like I didn't hear
Oh
it.
yeah, I saw
it's
that.
subtle. So that's what Grub has been up to, and you probably see Grub, flying in and out of portals, delivering sandwiches to people and things like that who are drunk at the festival. So they're enjoying a nice plainer sandwich.
Oh my god, that's so good. Adrian, have you heard from Callan at all? Like, is he still traveling?
Unfortunately, I heard. I read the letters, but I just try not to remember them because it's all dangerous.
I mean, I'm sure it's not like quite that bad.
The last thing was something about a giant octopus, and apparently their harpoon got stuck in it, and it dragged them for like 2 weeks.
Oh,
And
that
then it
reminds
ate
me.
them. After 2 weeks, it ate them.
Well, but
Not,
I mean,
it didn't eat them right away. It just dragged them for 2 weeks and then ate them.
but you got the letter, so I mean, everything is fine.
I mean, I guess they got out.
You should really maybe like try and remember the letters then.
I mean, it sounds like the
I
kind
don't
of
know.
stuff
I
we
just
used
send
to
an
get
allowance.
up to.
Yeah, that's no different from what we did.
Well,
I got
yeah, but I was there.
That's true.
That's the difference. I
And-
was there.
Callan learned from you. Do you
That's
really
also
think?
true. He's learned from the best.
He's literally done
Stop
your
making
training
good points.
for almost
Stop.
every day of his life.
AJ, I'm curious. Is Callan like a fighter like Adrian? What like if he was a class, what did he go with as he's grown up?
Oh
Ooh.
goodness. He probably not like a straight fighter, probably like a ranger or rogue sort of deal.
Ooh. Nice.
Where there's still like no magic involved, it's all combat and focused on the weapons and everything, but like probably does his own thing and doesn't become like a soldier type fighter like Adrian and his dad.
I love it. I was just curious.
Well, that's cute.
It is cute. I'm having like way too much fun thinking about next generation of adventurers, not gonna lie.
I mean, he probably went like he probably got some roguish talents being on a ship with Keith and
Got
Crackatur
that
and
swashbuckler
Clay.
going on.
Yeah.
Yeah. Callan became a little. They're on their Muppets Treasure Island adventure, and there's nothing
Oh
you
my
can
God.
do about it.
Spin-off, please.
Yeah, that's the
Tim
one
Curry
shot.
is there.
Tim Curry is Crackatur, Kermit is Flea, and Callan's the kid.
Oh my
That's
god.
awesome.
So good.
That's so good.
So I guess at this point, Kit probably comes over with a tankard, and we can do Kit's epilogue real quick.
Yeah. I want to know what Kit's been up to.
So Kit remains the Brass-Claddon, her metallic brass arm empowering her fighting abilities. After the War of the Plains, however, all of the horrors of war kind of flooded back to Kit. The day of the War of the Plains, she lost many of her shapes of brass. She lost Bloodhound, Rags, and Lady in 1 hour, her closest friends since joining the brass. Kit leaned on the remaining lieutenants, King, Heaven, and Warden, but had a hard time collecting her feelings. For years, only those with urgency saw Kit. Then, as if overnight, the people of the bookends began to see their charismatic leader change and become her old, playful, charismatic self again. Around the same time, Clara was seen leaving Kit's towers at all hours of the night. The two leaned on each other in the following years and were able to overcome Kit's ghosts of war and Clara's paranoia of demons. It's unclear if the two intend to marry or even continue dating, but time may tell.
I ship it hardcore. I'm so
Love
here
boat.
for it.
Love boat.
They're
Love
just
boats in the chat.
they're just friends with benefits.
Here for it.
I'm still here for it.
Right.
Okay?
At this time, you see like the outdoors. The sun gets a little blotted out, and you hear the flapping of large leathery wings as you see Marsaurus kind of crunch into the side of Risker's, and he's like, "You're fixing that," as he points out to the window, and Marsaurus is just like, "Sorry," and he just kind of peeks his head through like the big window. And we can do Marsaurus's as well. Marsaurus retired to Dragonspire after the War of the Plains. He looks after his two children, with which he feels he has been given a second chance thanks to the wrong turns. He nurses several serious wing injuries from the Siege Fiends in the War of the Plains, but vows to always be there if the chapters, but more importantly, Kit needs him. After the War of the Plains, Marsaurus felt somewhat responsible when he had learned the dark place that Kit had retreated to while he was away. Though in the years following the War of the Plains, the world saw far less turmoil, in recent years, Kit and Marsaurus have begun teaming up once again. Legends tell of the dragon rider that oversees the chapters of Brass, as the two have made quite a name for themselves. Inspired by their feeling of helplessness against Matriarch, the two have become almost a heroic duo in recent years, solving problems of all scales. And so Marsaurus kind of plops down into human Marsaurus form and kind of parkours through the window a little bit. He's like, "Hey guys," and he runs up and just gives you all big hugs. You've probably seen him around because he flies, and he probably stops in unannounced quite frequently, sometimes to your actual homes. So, you know, he pops in. He has, behind him, you see two smaller, but getting a lot bigger in the 10 years dragons, and his two little babies, you know, perch on the side of the window as well. Risker goes over and gives them, you know, some water, and they're hanging out as well. It doesn't seem like they've quite mastered the shape-shifting abilities yet, but they're getting there. And, you know, Marsaurus comes over and says, you know, catches up with you guys, tells what you've been up to, gives Kit, you know, a little side hug and asks her when the next adventure is, and sits with you all and has dinner and enjoys his time with you. Who else do we have? NPCs.
I mean, I'm sad, but I'm happy.
Right.
There's not many NPCs left, so I'm gonna do the second to last one, and then we'll do the last one closer to the end. Tawn Tenderlove. The one we're all waiting for.
Fuck.
After the War of the Plains, the Wrong Turns never saw Tawn Tenderlove again. Some theorized he died in the war, as most of the Watchers had cleared out before the Wrong Turns were pulled from the rubble. Regardless of the truth, if he is dead or not, every once in a while the Wrong Turns vacation to a faraway city, they'll catch a flash of a tattoo of an open eye imprinted in someone's skin. The weird part is, the tattoo is becoming more prominent in even further away cities.
Thanks, I hate it.
And then-
Do
and
not
that's when
like that.
That's when we go back to the present, and King Jax is like, you know, in the 10 years since the whole big wing wang thing happened,
That's the technical
The
term.
big wing.
Clearly.
I have not seen Mr. Tenderlove, that piece of
Good.
ever.
Absolute shit. I like it better without him. Like,
Did we ever confirm his death? Like,
I
I really
mean-
wanted verification.
oh, I hope he's dead.
Like, for like his sake, he better hope he's dead, because I mean, you know, otherwise I guarantee if Calorai ever see him again, he's gonna wish he was.
Yeah, I'm with Chase.
I agree.
I mean, you know, I'm retired.
Yeah, you know, those injuries really keep me from doing things anymore.
I can light things on fire with my mind, so
I mean, I'd
kill you
still
with my
kill him.
brain.
Adrian.
No, he has lungs. It's fine.
Yes.
He does
Uh,
have lungs, doesn't
He
he?
does.
This
He
is
might
a good
not.
point.
Well,
Yeah.
not anymore, I guess.
Speaking of lungs, Sarin, did the Weave ever get my my thesis about the Void having lungs? Because I worked really hard on it.
You know they did, and they loved it so much that they actually put it in a very special library. And it is a library that is only accessible to higher members of the Order of the Weave. Translation: that shit is in my bedroom and hasn't seen the light of day.
It's propping up Saren's table.
Yeah, it's
Well,
like-
I mean, we got rid of Scream
Amazing.
Hoarders, so.
Yeah.
okay.
We needed
Well-
something.
You know, just let me know if there needs to be any edits made.
Oh my god.
Oh, it was so perfect. They were literally speechless. They could not give me any feedback. They were so overwhelmed by the thesis.
This is how Bulin must have felt when they became a god.
Oh, truly.
God.
Oh, Jesus.
You can tell at this point the free flowing drink at Kane Jax's age, not as young as he used to be.
Aw.
He can't pound him back like the young lad in those adventures.
Ah, those were the days.
I feel like maybe like Chase and King Jax have sort of flipped like roles in a way now, or like she's the one who's like making sure he'll have like a glass of water every now and then, just like you're gonna like really be regretting it later. Roar's gonna be so pissed if you puke in the kitchen sink again, man.
Oh, Beans, you're right.
I just love the idea of like that tone shift of like
Right.
Chase trying to take care of him now.
Mhm.
Yeah, I love that.
No.
Because he was party dad for a while, so it's nice to get to be the baby for once.
And Chase is literally in mom mode, so like.
I love it. Has Chase kind of become a little bit of a Karen in the years? Like a
I
wee
mean-
Do
bit?
not put that on her.
No,
No,
not like in a bad
I don't
way.
think any more than she already has always been kind of like an asshole Karen in her
Okay.
own way. Not in like a I need to speak to your manager way, but in like I'm gonna break into your house and rearrange all your stuff when you're not home kind of way.
Or judge you for the add-ons you made to your tavern.
All right, but you know what?
They were shitty add-ons, okay?
My high school actually did that, which
Yeah,
is
our
like
college
what I
did
was
that.
thinking about, and it looks terrible. I'm like, why is half of our building in the southwest? It's like the architecture style is like, I don't know, I'm in New Jersey. It's like a colonial style building and then like a very like, I don't know. So that's what I'm picturing Riskers looks like now, where it's just like two like
Completely different.
totally
architectural-
different styles. Yeah.
Old Gothic and Renaissance Rome.
Exactly. So, you know, Chase is judging him hard for that.
Amazing.
Yeah, I don't know. Otherwise, yeah, I think she is just sort of, in general, way chiller than people probably remember from, like, the way she used to be, at least. Like, when we all get together, she kind of regresses a bit, but for the most part, it's like she switches back onto, like, mom mode at, like, you know, turn of a dime kind of deal. Like you do.
Oh.
No.
No, we
So-
love Chase so much.
Love Mama Cat.
So as you are all kind of reminiscing here, a final familiar face walks through the tavern door at the bottom. A large flowered hat, a beautiful mask in front of her face. Affinity walks through the door. And she's like, well, I just can't quite find where I'm supposed to be today. Risker, could you please be a dear and point me to the direction? And Affinity, Risker points out the door, and Affinity's like, finally, someone around here. And she gives him a little kiss on the cheek and walks out.
I think we're all just like,
Wait,
there was shindig going on that I didn't know about today? Who's getting hitched? Risker, is someone getting hitched?
Nope. Not my business.
wait, Risker.
Excuse me, I'm going to go speak to my mother. I'll be right back.
Mhm.
And Bryn's gonna go and start having kind of a quick conversation with her mother, and then she and both of her sisters and her mother are all gonna kind of go.
Well, I'm still as nosy as ever.
Yaz actually starts making a very loud commotion, tipping over tables with Nim, by the way.
Shit.
And so Sarin just immediately goes into her own version of mom mode because her parents are not there at the moment. And she's like, all right, you, come on. You're done. I'm done with you. Come on. And I also take my leave.
Like, all right, this is enough. All right, you gotta help me clean this up. Nim, where are you going? Like, because she's like a kid still. So I think you sort of see Chase like rush over, and there's like this little like panther-looking kid with like tentacles writhing, and I'm like trying to transfer her from like one arm to the other, and she's like picking things up off the table and the floor with them. And I'm like, God damn it, cow!
I will say that Yaz did create tentacles to match her.
Amazing. King Jax looks over to Adrian. You know, I really do miss hanging out with everyone. Sometimes, like this reminds me, I do miss hanging out with everyone.
Oh, you youngins. I'm glad that you all still have half as much energy as I do.
Yeah, do you still run the 10 miles every morning?
Every morning.
Oh, still at your age, that's impressive.
We don't joke about this.
I'm not joking, I was complimenting you on your...
Running is good for you, it makes you healthy, and the rest of the regiment does too. Now, if you had continued with our training, you would know that, but I understand you wanted to take a break, it's fine.
Well,
for 10 years.
I kind of got injured in the battle. It's hard to do the running thing when you can't really run much anymore, you know?
Yeah, I just miss you.
Oh, I miss you too. Why don't you come on down to Startouch Dial? You know, Aurora and we got a guest room now at the beach, and you could sleep next to the sound of the beach, and Callan could come too, and he can bring his Flea and that other big weird guy.
Oh, yeah, that big weird guy. I don't really know him too well, honestly.
From the few interactions we've had, I don't know. Keith says he's all right, so I'm gonna take Keith's word for it.
That's fair.
So look, why don't you come down and Blossom? I'm sure you would. I mean, Chase, it's still hard for me after 10 years. You would think I would have figured it out by now. But, you know, we would all love to see you. Bryn comes down all the time, and Sarin makes time, and with the weave and everything. I do try to send in a thesis once in a while, and I have yet to hear back.
Sorry to hear that.
No, it's okay. We do miss you, and I just hope you're doing well.
Yeah, it's been good, you know, helping people continue on their adventuring and not actually having to go anywhere. Did you know that they make daily crossword puzzles?
Yeah, aren't they great?
No,
You know,
I haven't been bored in like 3 years.
Oh, Aurora and I usually do little races with the crossword puzzles. You could join us. It would be fun. And Bryn and I, we trade books back and forth with each other in Elven. So, you know, sometimes Aurora likes to see what books are being read. Because actually Aurora's the one who's been making me read more in my free time. Says it's good for the brain.
Ugh, yeah, but at what cost?
I don't know, I usually just smoke while I'm reading, and I kind of just melt into the book.
See, at least with crosswords, you get to be competitive. There's nothing competitive about reading.
I don't know, some people really do take it to an extreme degree. And it's about analyzing, I guess, and reading into the story. I just thought the curtains were blue. And apparently there's a reason that the curtains are blue, and I never knew this until Bryn explained the symbolism to me.
It's not just because they liked blue.
I don't know. Apparently, there's a larger symbolism to all of this, and in all these stories, and I don't know. But apparently, maybe there's a lesson to be learned from ours.
I don't like learning lessons.
Neither do I. My lesson is sit on your arse. Don't actually go out on an adventure because tell you what, I do miss everyone. That's the problem. It's the one thing I miss. I don't want to actually go out and go on an adventure, but I just miss being with you all and being with my family, you know?
Yeah, I get what you mean. I mean, I'm always at the chapters. I'm around.
Yeah, well, Aurora and I are going to be staying at the Dryad's Den for the as a little getaway, a little time off, and a little time away from home. So we'll be sure to maybe grab some more of a bite to eat and less of this loud atmosphere. Ugh.
Yeah, it's definitely lively tonight. It's been a while since I've been out, I suppose.
No, I understand. Did you think about opening that gym, that workout place where people can get strong? It's like a library, but for your muscles.
A library for muscles. Now, when you put it that way, it sounds really lame.
Well, you could call it like I don't know, what's the word? Is it gymnasium? The workout place where people
Yes,
lift
I
heavy
get
objects.
that, but you called it a library for muscles.
I don't know. It was the best.
Libraries are the worst.
Oh, actually, I've come to kind of like them in the recent years.
You disgust
Reading's
me.
okay.
All right, well, agree to disagree.
Look.
But I mean, I'm happy rehabilitating adventurers, honestly.
Well, that's good. You found a purpose. Maybe I could help too. There are sometimes ailments of the mind. I could come in maybe once a month or maybe like twice a month and, come into town. I'll hitch a ride with Marsaurus. And I'll just, I'll sit down and talk about the things that, that adventurers experience deep inside that they don't really get a chance to talk about because it's after the adventuring happens that it sets in. I would like to help with that. Talk to Kit and see what she has to say.
It's not a bad idea. I'll bring it up. I mean, you can only scream off of cliffs so many times before they start to not want to climb up the cliff anymore because it's a long way to climb to scream about things.
Sometimes you could just scream at home.
And I think that's a really great moment for Chase to be coming back over with a struggling Neem who's just making loud sounds.
Oh.
And I'm I'm just gonna sort of deposit her to King Jax real quick, but hang on 1 second.
And she just fits in the palm of my hand.
Amazing.
And I'm gonna rummage around in my bag and pull out my good old faithful portable hole, which is now just the handiest equivalent of a diaper bag, and open it up, and I go rummaging in, and I come out with a bag of snacks and a little toy lyre that I give to Neem, and I'm all right, here, why don't you have a snack and play with this for a little while, all right?
Tell you what, Nim, if you behave really well, Uncle KJ will take you to the candy store back on the island, and you'll get to pick from the 5 gold piece bin.
She just runs off all excited with her new lyre and doesn't even really She's excited about the 5 gold piece candy, but she could probably steal some here too. And she just kind of flashes in and out, kind of knock powers / Cal powers at the same time, and just kind of runs off. Pretty much impossible to hold this kid down anywhere.
Yeah, I imagine I'm just sort of watching her night crawler poof around throughout the tavern until she's back outside somewhere, and I'm she's fine.
Yep.
Chase, it's a real shame they don't have a special school for children like this.
That would certainly make life a little bit easier, at least when she's older. Haven't really figured out what we're doing for that yet, honestly.
Maybe in 3,000 years.
I just really like the idea of portable whole diaper bag. Not gonna lie.
So good.
It's great. Oh my god.
Very
I
excellent.
wish I had a portable whole like purse.
Right?
It'll be handy.
I think-
Oh, go ahead.
Oh, I was just gonna say, I think the portable hole is both where Chase keeps like easy to travel like child stuff, but also the dangerous stuff that she needs to make sure that Nim doesn't poof into to like get access to.
Yes.
Like, this is where all my weird rogue poisons hang out in a locked vault in my extra dimensional portal.
Look, Adrian, you're not the only mom of the group anymore, I suppose.
I was never a mom.
Well, you were our shield mom.
It's true.
Don't tell anyone.
Hey, okay, only we will ever know that you are our shield mom. Wait, does that make you Nim's shield grandmother then?
Oh my god, it totally does.
Grandma Adrian.
No, that makes me sound old.
And it gives you a reason to come visit more often. And he has
She
like
does
this
miss
shitty
ya.
grim.
It's about this point that Kit walks up, who has been silently eavesdropping like a table away. And she's like, Adrian, I mean, it would make more sense. Callan comes to visit. The bookends are so landlocked. It's such a journey for him. I mean, if you went and lived on the island, you can help people from there. I don't give a shit about the teleporting rule. I never have. Neither do you guys, obviously. So I could send anyone who needs it to you.
I mean, it's true.
It's true. Plus, they could
Fair
come
enough.
see
Good
me
idea. I'm moving here.
All right.
All right.
We'll make it so. Hey, Kit just kind of smiled. Again, she's hammered, but she'll figure it out.
We'll make sure we remind her about that tomorrow.
We'll get that done. Can we get a notary over here? Oh, I think Bryn's actually a notary and can notarize things now. Hey, Bryn.
She's not there. She's gone.
Oh, Beans. She left.
She didn't leave in a hurry, actually. I wonder if everything's all right.
Yeah, should we do the old sending stone thing?
I don't have that. She's got it.
Chris, if I may.
Yeah.
It's actually right about this time, almost as if he heard you and was cued to it. Bryn's father, Brayden, stands up at the next table and clears his throat, and somehow the sound carries through the tavern and everybody falls silent, and he says, if I could have everyone's attention. Thank you. On behalf of the family Leto and Clan Andadoria, I would like to thank the Wrong Turns and all those from the chapters of Brass and beyond who helped my daughter so much. I could not be more grateful. And in order to demonstrate that gratitude, I have a surprise for you all. So, Wrong Turns, if you would follow me, please.
All right. I'll like take Neem back from. Right, no, she ran away, so I'll just follow everyone else. I'm folding my portable hole back up. Like, god damn it, kids.
And Brayden, followed by his two sons, Bryn's two brothers, strides out of the tavern, and he leads you down the path and around the curve of the island onto a formerly empty, clear overhang where the brisk, salty breeze blows the scrubby grass flat, where the Wrong Turns have shared many picnics and probably a few screaming sessions over the years. But unlike what you've seen so many times before, the clearing has been completely transformed. Little glowing globules of golden light drift like a constellation dragged down from the sky, bobbing through the air, and a small golden bowl of clear water stands on a pedestal in the center of the area, bathed in scarlet and orange in the late afternoon sunlight. A pair of simple wooden cups are perched on the edge of the pedestal, obviously handmade and very, very old, alongside a length of colorless ribbon, a cup of blackberries, and a candle. Vines of white and silver flowers are growing everywhere, tangling up the rock and tumbling like snow and emerald waterfalls, filling the air with their sweet scent. On the left of the basin stands Bryn's immediate family, all dressed in simple silver tunics and black pants, wreaths of white and gold in their hair. As Brayden and the boys join them, their simple travel gear falls away, revealing matching outfits, and wreaths wind their way across their brow. Sarin's family stands across from them, also in silver and covered in flowers. In the center, next to each other, behind the golden basin, are Sarin and Bryn, both dressed in white. Sarin's red hair is pulled into a complicated updo, held in place with gold pins and fresh white blossoms. She wears a ball gown of simple, flawless silk with bell sleeves and a generous skirt trimmed in soft blush pink and gold, and she is holding a bristling spray of brightly colored spider lilies nestled among glossy green leaves and trailing ivy vines. In contrast, Bryn's in a simple sheath dress with a low neckline and long flowing sleeves, the skirt pooling on the grass beneath her, a train falling from her shoulders. Her hair is long and loose, auburn curls glittered with pale petals. She wears a lace veil held in place by a crown of gilded rowan branches and a necklace of green leaves. There is a massive bouquet of Easter lilies, ferns, and ivy in the crook of one arm. Azil, with a tiny white and gold wreath on his little black head, sits by her ankle. She smiles at you all when you come around the corner, and she says, "Normally, Udelph weddings are a quiet affair, just the participants and occasionally a few guests. But it wouldn't be right without all of you here."
Oh.
I will actually go up to Chase, be like, I need my matron of honor to come stand with me.
Oh, Sarin. Yeah, that's amazing. I'm honored. Thank you. Like, Chase is totally caught off guard by this, and I think her eyes actually do fill. She's very touched by that and just gives you a big hug. And she'll just sort of whisper, be like, I'm so happy for both of you.
Thank you.
So you rejoin your places, and actually, Chase stands next to Sarin in the same position that Azil is for Bryn.
Oh! Does Azil have like a little bow tie or something?
Yeah, actually, it does. Now that you say that, it's canon.
Yes!
So, Sarah Dwin, who's Bryn's mother, she steps forward and said, "Is there anything that participants would like to say before the ceremony begins?" And Bryn nods, and she looks at Sarah and she says, "I told you once I was better with books than with people. That is still true. I spent a long time on my own with nothing but books and my cat to keep me company. I was afraid for a long time. I didn't know how to care about much of anything. Not myself, and certainly not others. And then I went to that stupid tavern, and I met a drunk tabaxi and a confusing Forbolg and fought some extraplanar zombie monsters. And here we are. And I am so glad that we are. I love you, Sarin Calvor. Bryn, whatever you call yourself and whatever face you wear. You make me glad to be alive."
Wiping away tears, Sarin responds, "You know, according to some mythologies, people were initially created with 4 arms, 4 legs, and a head with 2 faces. Fearing their power, the gods split them into 2 separate beings, condemning them to spend their lives in search for their other halves. I am so blessed to have found mine. You're the first person I think of when I wake up. You're the last person I think of when I go to sleep. You're the one that haunts my dreams at night. You kiss my scars and tell me that I am beautiful. I am so lucky that someday I will have a grave next to yours. I vow to love you when it's easy and love you more when it's not. I want to stand by your side for our journey through life, never behind, never in front, right next to you. I will keep pushing myself and you to be the best that we can be. You know, I've worn black almost every day of my life. I wore white today to signify the importance of this marriage. I never thought I would find someone as wonderfully as our friends put it, nerdy as I am. I am blessed to have found my match, my counterpart, my family, my love. I will love you today and always."
And Bryn's mother steps forward again. Everybody's crying at this point. Let the ceremony begin. And she and Seer reach forward and they take the bouquets from their respective children. And with an air of great ceremony, Bryn removes a simple steel hunting knife from her hip and places it on the basin. Across from her, Sarin does the same with a slight, ornate silver one. Neither of them speak. Anyone familiar with Wood Elves knows that Wood Elf wedding ceremonies are done in complete silence because despite being a people who love stories and legends, Wood Elves believe that love is shown in the deed rather than the word. And Bryn and Sarin clasp forearms, and each takes one end of the colorless ribbon and begin winding it around their arms. When they're done, Bryn uses her left hand to take one of the wooden cups and dip it into the basin, then offers it to Sarin, who drinks it. And Sarin does the same, and Bryn drinks. And Sarin picks up one of the blackberries and offers it to Bryn, who eats it, and then does the same. And then together, they pick up a long, slim match that lights spontaneously in Bryn's hand and touch it to the wick of the white candle, which catches. And Brayden, seeing that the ceremony has been completed, promptly bursts into tears.
And what color's the flower from Affinity?
So Affinity, she's sitting in the back, understanding the culture of Wood Elf weddings and not wanting to interrupt. And you do catch that she's wiping a tear away from underneath her little masquerade mask that she wears, and she's like, "Oh, well, I feel like I'd be run out of here by people more powerful than me if I didn't." And she hands you a green flower.
Brittany takes it, and she holds it, and she nods her head to Affinity. Thank you.
She walks away crying.
Yeah. Surprise!
Congratulations! And Chase throws herself onto Sarin, and then Bryn, just giving them both hugs and kisses on your cheek. She's so excited.
Big hugs all around. Some of Bryn's family members pull out some instruments to start playing music.
Y'all could have at least told us.
Yeah, I would have brought the gift.
I know, I could have dressed a little nicer or something.
Yeah, I'm in a bathrobe.
She's brushing tears away.
Oh, beans! I'm so happy for you two.
Do you think we would really want you in anything other than what you are?
This, yeah.
That was beautiful, you two. I will. No words. That was wonderful.
I'm happy for you, nerds.
Thank you.
May you read books together for eternity.
I think that's the first time I've heard you say the word book.
Look, if Affinity's flower isn't enough, you both taught me how to appreciate books in libraries, so I think
job done, Sarin!
So I think this marriage can last on that principle alone.
Oh, I truly feel like I've succeeded in life now. Oh,
Made it! Achievement get!
oh, we did it.
So
The little Xbox achievement bar lights up.
So any plans for honeymoon? Is it Startouch Island by chance?
Yeah, what's next for you two lovebirds?
I don't really know yet, to be honest. I kind of had one goal for my entire life. And now that I've achieved it, I'm not don't really know what to do with myself.
No clue.
It's we maybe peaked a little bit in life,
Well,
save the world.
You could do what I did. Fuck off and live on the beach. It's great.
Yeah, it's true. We could do that.
It's not so bad.
No.
Honestly, I enjoy it. It's nice. The quiet, honestly. I think you two would love it. There's the library right there on the island. We're around.
Bryn, the library does need your organizing touch. Lord no, gods no, I can't do it as good as you can.
I've never said no to a library in my life. I don't think I'm going to start now.
Plus, portals aren't really a big deal, so when Sarin's needed at the weave, Sarin does what Sarin does best. Magic.
Pop in and out.
Easy.
Look, Quill does it. It's okay now.
Excellent.
You'll always have a room at Poor Choices when y'all swing by, so
Still a very
you're
good
welcome
name.
to come and stay. Right, I thought so.
It's very
I'm
good.
so
Very
impressed
good.
with it, truly.
And I'll always have a joint rolled up for either of you if you want the offer.
Oh, thank you.
As Bryn's dad walks by, he like kind of does what my dad does at weddings and like puts a cigar, like a big old blunt in the front pocket. Congratulations! I'm so proud of your daughter, and they did great things. And your 2 daughters now, they did great things. You should be proud.
Starts crying again. He looks so proud. He could explode. He's just. His father's a very soft man.
Nothing wrong with the self, Dad.
No, we love
Um,
soft diets here.
And Bryn looks at the 3 of you and she says, "No seriousness. Lanterns. Meeting you all was probably the best thing that has ever happened in my life. I'm sure you noticed, but I was in a pretty dark place when we first met, and if it wasn't for all of you, I probably would be dead a dozen times over by now. And I certainly would never have been able to save my family. And to find a second family as well. Thank you.
We were happy to be here.
Yeah, I think we all did kind of a lot of saving of each other. None
That's
of
what
us were doing too hot back then, so.
Yeah, and that's what family does. We look out for each other.
Thanks for sharing this with us. I know, you said it's not too standard, so I appreciate it.
Your family. Why wouldn't we have you here?
It wouldn't be right if you weren't here, like I said. Ugh, the emotions are giving me hives. What's the dance?
You go along and dance. Uncle Canejax is gonna go get an elven wine, and I'm gonna go find my own bride. Where did Aurora get off to now?
Yaz just breaks down. Like dancing breaks down, not crying.
I was like, oh no!
No.
We love
Dancing.
They break it down, yeah.
Yeah, they still have the tentacles going, so it's like
Amazing.
extra fun.
Nim
Adrian
loves
is just pulling out every like Midwestern dad at a wedding dance move.
Oh my god.
Like she does the lawnmower,
Yeah,
she does
the
the
lawn-
shopping cart,
The sprinkler.
the hand drive.
Oh my god.
This is
Chase.
a wrong turn.
It's so good. Chase will let Nim dance on her feet and like hold her hands and like move her around like you do with like little kids at weddings and stuff. So she'll help Nim like dance with everybody.
Cal eventually finds you all and cuts in.
Aw. Yeah,
Aw.
when Canejax gets just a moment alone with Bryn, he'll just be like, I've kind of taken up a new purpose in life, a different kind of healing than the kind I used to do with when we were almost, saving each other and all that. It's more healing of the mind, and if that's stuff that those dark thoughts ever do crop up again, because they sometimes will, just know there's a spot in the old beach house for you, a nice comfy chair for you to come talk to old Canejax.
Thank you, Kenjax. I appreciate that.
Of course. And well, I am very happy for you and Sarin. That is, congratulations, and thank you again. I know very much how elves are. Trust me, I married one. I know how they can be about their ceremonies, so I really very much appreciate it. And he even like puts a gentle hand on your shoulder. He's not like, like when you used to adventure with him 10 years ago, he's much more forceful with his affection. Now he's just like very gentle with it. Well, not me with my mic, but he's like much more gentle. Like he's definitely mellowed and definitely calmed down in the years and kind of learned a lot about people, especially with his new role after guiding the dead spirits to their afterlife.
Bryn will actually turn fully and give you a hug,
Oh,
which maybe the first hug she's ever actually instigated outside of life and death scenarios.
I'll gently just kind of give the hug back with the one arm resting on my cane. Oh, I'm so proud of you two and so happy for you two. That was beautiful.
Sarin does not dance. Actually does go, was trying to find Adrian. Finds Adrian on the dance floor. It is, oh god. Shit, now I have to dance. Okay. I don't think I've ever seen those dance moves before. Where did you learn them?
You're muted, Abby.
She just stops and I don't know.
That's okay. Actually,
It's just like intuitive, I think.
no, I completely understand. And points behind her, and you see both Ray's and Seer, her parents, doing the exact same thing. Yeah, it
I learned from the best, see? Yeah.
seems to be rather catching. I just recognize those moves because my parents did them when I was younger, and so I was curious.
Well, I mean, we don't have to dance. Like, I can take a sit.
Sure, I'll join you. I, just wanted to thank you. I know we were friends when we adventured, but we never really were close. And I always considered you. I know we joked and called you Shield Mom, but I always did sort of consider you a parent figure when I didn't have mine. And I'm sorry, I'm only just telling you this now.
No. Jeez. Oh, that's... I don't know how I ended up with like 1 million kids, but I love you all very much. And I care very much about you. And it's kind of weird when 2 of your kids get married, but I'm happy for you and Bryn.
Thank you. Yes, and I do understand that is a tad weird, but the sentiment is appreciated nonetheless.
I'm just kidding. But hey, you put together one heck of a party.
I hope so. We did sort of cap Chase's supply. Old supply.
Oh,
Pension
wasn't getting
collected.
much use anyway.
Exactly.
Thankfully.
Exactly. And, Cal may have mentioned something, so.
Well, didn't exactly bring you a gift, but I will not make fun of books for a while.
You've said books and not gagged twice in the span of an hour. Color me impressed. That's enough of a gift.
It took a lot of practice.
I can tell.
Look, for a while, when I was trying to dissuade Callan from becoming an adventurer, I read a lot of pamphlets.
I see. Did you enjoy them?
Not especially, but they had some nice pictures.
I know lots of books that have very good pictures, and I also know lots of books that may or may not have physical exercise instruction in them.
Wait, people, you can write that down.
Of course. You can write anything down. I have some...
She just looks very distrustfully at Sarin.
I've been collecting them since we stopped adventuring, and Bryn and I kind of wandered off whenever we were walking. we actually made a bet. Well, I made a bet mentally, and I'm sure Bryn would agree with me. That I could get you to read. I
You
have
shouldn't have told me you made a bet. Because that does change things. However, I am intrigued.
Tell you what. In the library that I'm working on, there's a chest. It's a locked chest. And it just has a little nameplate on it. And it says SM. Oh. And it means Shield Mom. Not what you're thinking, but it means Shield Mom.
What would I think?
That is a different form of exercise that I'm not going to discuss.
What am I supposed to think it's supposed to mean?
Nothing.
Swordmaster?
Yes. Let's go with that. But it means Shield Mom. And if you...
Boiled men.
No.
I don't know. I give up. Anyway.
Anyway. It means Shield Mom. And it has been enchanted so that you are the only person besides myself who can open the box. And inside, I have 15 different books about various exercise regimens that span the entire continent. There are versions of exercise that you don't even know.
That's impossible.
Oh, don't try me. I'm a nerd, remember? I know everything.
Show me.
Head to the library when you're ready.
Okay.
Consider it a thank you gift for all the times you've saved my life. Our lives.
Because it's your wedding day, I will go to the library.
And you didn't gag when you said that either. I'm sorry. How about here? I'll compromise. How about I have the box sent to your room?
That's better. I like that idea.
Okay. Then you can open it and read, and then you can decide if you want to or not. Because I have decided that if you don't read them, Bryn is going to get a lovely gift. And if you do read them, Bryn's going to get a lovely gift anyway. So it's sort of a win-win.
I will consider it and
Okay.
let you know.
Okay. I will say, you'll find some martial arts in there that I think you might find agreeable.
I'm only doing this because it's your wedding.
Of course.
And because it might be helpful for work.
Sure. Absolutely. Heaven forbid you read for enjoyment.
That's not what reading is for. That's what exercise is for.
Sure. Absolutely. And I'll just kind of very briefly just kind of lean my head on her shoulder. Be like, thank you for being there.
And Adrian will put her head on top of her head real gently and give her a little squeeze, a side hug. And I think that's like, yeah, I don't think they need to say anything else after that. That's just a good way to leave it.
Yeah.
Oh man, I just maybe is that where we call it? Fuck, I don't know.
Oh. No, we call it
Ever. We call it never.
Never.
We're
Never
playing
happened.
all night.
Quick, somebody do a scene. Do a scene.
Chris, you have one more thing, right? You got another gloss up your sleeve.
Last 20 minutes of the session, there's another thing, right?
And then a
I'll take
dragon.
I was about to say, I'll take a goddamn dragon, Chris.
Quick, King Jax, how did you become king of the ogres?
Oh, I've told that story so many times. I moved on to another story. Now let me tell you about the time that I redeemed the soul of the most damned ghost I'd ever met. Oh, and then he just starts rambling on and on about how he met this like ghost in his ill-fatedness and is talking about this like ogre ghost.
Oh, King Jax.
That seems right.
That seems like a good ending.
As
Oh
you
my
were
God.
all enjoying the end of the Sarin and Bryn wedding, is there any last things that you'd like to say about your character and their epilogue or anything that we missed?
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, I've got something. So Bryn is probably going to spend a time in the Star-Touched Isle Library, as I said, organizing, reading, cleaning, etc. But eventually she's probably sort of by accident going to stumble onto sort of a calling as a healer, because in their journey she ended up picking up a lot of healing spells, and that was not something she ever meant to do. But she realized that she could spare a lot of people the pain that she went through, losing her family to a disease that she couldn't fight, because that nobody could fight, because she was a child with this magic that she's discovered on her journeys. So she will spend quite a lot of her time reading and things like that. But she's also going to do some work as a healer, just kind of across the continent, going where people are in trouble and helping. Also, nobody think about the fact that Bryn is an elf and thus will live several hundred more years than everybody else. Don't think about it. Don't think
I
about it.
wasn't gonna say
Don't
it.
think about it.
Did you say it
Yeah.
out loud?
It's haunting me, and it must haunt you all now.
Oh.
I was gonna say Adrian lives probably to the ripe old age of 90 something before passing very peacefully in her sleep, much to her chagrin.
And Kane Jax would be very happy to preside over the service for Adrian.
You're not supposed to go quietly.
Don't worry, he made sure that your
Rage.
you were buried on the edge of a cliff, and when we put you in the ground, Kane Jax thundered your name out one last time, so you did go out in style.
And from the
We all just
afterlife,
screamed.
Just screamed off the edge of the cliff.
from the afterlife, she was pleased while she wrestled with Thane.
Oh, that's pretty amazing. I think maybe just sort of a small note for Chase, at least, is that originally she had plans to try to ensure that Nim would never get the same kind of rogue training that she had, like learning how to fight or sneak or pick locks or steal or anything. But then one day her mom, who's retired on the islands, tells her that it would be a really good idea if Nim is able to be ready to be out on her own, kind of the same way Chase was at some point. And kind of begrudgingly, Chase will, give her some lessons purely from like a self-defense, practical, if you're ever jumped by a bunch of bandits, this is how you pick your locks kind of thing. And yeah, she just dedicates herself to trying to make sure that Nim is having a far better chance at a life than she ever got to have. And that's all Chase spends her time doing.
One more thing with Chase is that eventually, it might take 10 years, might take 20 years, but eventually the knock mark fades. And it's not there anymore, but you still regain the powers. And you don't really, maybe you hear chains rattling occasionally, but you don't really see Knock again. And you think that you don't really need to see him again. You completed his favor, and he gave you what he promised, and that was that. It's a transaction done in his mind, and you come, you do a little bit of studying and research, maybe ask the nerds about it, and that's just kind of how he works. So he's, the last time you saw him was the time he thanked you, and that's
right.
a pretty good spot to leave it with him.
Yeah, I think the day it finally disappears, she actually feels a lot of just peace and the ability to relax in a way that she hadn't realized she was still carrying this tenseness in her until that day. And then suddenly it was just that is the mark of my adventuring days are done. Like,
Yeah.
I'm finished.
I think for Canejax, he kind of just really enjoys the quiet life. He still continues essentially counseling people and counseling the undead. Him and Aurora, I guess, kind of become the cool aunt and uncle. You know, they're the parents to everyone else's kids. You know how there's that neighbor? That's them. They're the parents to like all the other kids on Star Touched Isle, and they all just kind of go and hang out. And Grow Place Like Homes remains successful, and yeah, I don't think there's really anything else really wild to note. He's pretty content and happy. He gets to see his friends all the time, and he deserves the good life, and he knows that.
Bulin drops by every Sunday for Spike Ball.
That's right.
Oh dear. Sarin spends all of her time with Bren, goes with her everywhere, finds her own calling, while Bryn heals and takes care of people physically. Sarin does so emotionally. She learns to take in people's children and take care of them until their parents can come back for them again, or if they can't, find a suitable parent. There are one or two that become very, very special to Sarin, and hopefully to Bryn, and by luck of the draw, chance, fate, whatever, they are both elven children. And Sarin quietly tells them that she wants them to keep an eye on Bryn after Sarin is gone. And just, get Bryn out of the books every once in a while. Keep her occupied. Make sure she's happy.
And I'm sure they do. Anybody else?
No, I think we can leave on that really sad one. Thank you.
You're welcome.
The others, and whatever you do,
I've
make
been
sure-
planning this for like weeks.
and whatever you do, make sure your Uncle Canejax never touches any of my spell books.
Don't
It's okay, the library's enchanted. He can't even go in it. It's fine.
Kate. Why?
You monster.
Why? I've taken so much emotional damage tonight.
1,000 points of psychic damage. Enjoy.
Fuck. Oh, this story.
I just needed to make myself cry. It's fine.
I'm not
It's okay, I
okay.
get it.
Everything's fine.
Everything's
It's okay. It's okay. We're good.
It is not okay, Alex. But
No,
thank
it's
you for
not. I'm just
trying.
trying to pretend, okay? Yes.
Yes.
No, we're all in the
MVP.
Oh my god, that was awesome. Clip that.
Do you have any last words about the world of Talencia or anything else?
Oh,
for
it
us?
wouldn't be an AB stream
Oh,
if
God.
we didn't have a few last things.
Chris, plot twist. Okay.
So when we're all ready, we'll get there. But first, the important part is everybody happy with where we're leaving things.
Very.
Mhm.
It's bittersweet, but very happy.
Yeah.
Happy is a strong word there,
Mm.
but yes.
Well, yeah.
Content.
Yeah.
I'll take content.
Even stronger, yeah. So, a few last things here. I'm not going to speak much to the world after the wrong turns have impacted it, because we'll learn more about that shortly. But I will say that there comes a time where you don't all see this. This is the proverbial you see this. Now, your characters aren't physically there, but the camera zooms in on a very, he's a toned, light-skinned half-elf. He has shoulder-length white hair that is kind of pulled up into a ponytail at all times. He wears 12 different rings on 10 different fingers. And he has a book in his lap, and he has about 15 little children sitting on a rug in a tavern in front of him. And he's like, and that's the story of the wrong turns. I don't have more. And all the kids are like, no way, there's got to be more to the story. Does Adrian ever open up the business? What does Callan get up to? Does Nim become a powerful sorcerer? Do Bryn and Sarin go on a bunch of adventures? How much of that weed does King Jack smoke? And he looks out and he says, I don't know what to tell you. That's all that was written. And all these kids are just looking on like over and over. And he closes the book, and you see that the book actually has no words at all, and instead it's landscapes. And he looks out at all the little kids, and he takes his leave. And all those little kids grow up hearing the stories of the wrong turns and all their different adventures that they went on. And that's our one last thing for the evening.
So good. So good.
Chris, thank you.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you,
Sorry.
everyone.
The idea of the wrong turns being role models to a generation of
Oh,
children
it's
is
terrible.
genuinely
It's
terrifying.
They
It
didn't-
can be loud.
The storyteller didn't know the details, I'm assuming.
Oh, we know who the storyteller is. Just say it. I know who it is.
Yeah, dude.
We know who it is.
Soren doesn't know the details of the wrong turns.
Abby, did you?
So good.
AJ, you okay?
No. Yeah.
Can't tell if that's a filter or not.
Same.
I need that filter.
It's a filter. I thought it was appropriate.
It was very.
We have a bet to see whose makeup was going to be the best by the end of this.
I
Right.
know.
Mine's
I
still
gotta say,
intact.
like,
So, like-
I'm doing pretty good.
So, like,
Thanks, Ben 9. Call me.
So just a quick thing is like, as a GM, I've finished campaigns with my friends before. Like I've reached conclusions, but like this, as a player, I've never finished a campaign. And this, what a campaign to fucking finish. This was such a ride and such a good time. I love you, my friends. This is just so good.
I love you all very much.
Seriously, love you all too. This has been my longest game, the longest character I've ever played, the only campaign I've ever finished, and this was like one of my very first streams, like games ever. And just these past 2 years, getting to know all of you has been seriously amazing. Like the last year, especially. I don't know how I would have gone through all of it without like all of you. So it's been really great getting to roll dice together.
Bryn, this is one of the first streamed campaigns I've ever been in. Bryn was the first Dungeons and Dragons character I ever created that I repurposed for this campaign. This is the only campaign I've ever finished and the only character I have successfully brought to a happy ending. So
I think that this might be, the only like campaign where we had like, like a solid conclusion and an epilogue, and it's like, okay, we're done. We don't have any more stories to tell with these characters.
And I'm okay with that.
I think
Yeah.
every character kind of completed their course, so.
Feels good.
Yeah, but thank you guys so much. I didn't expect this campaign to get out the gate after the start we had, so I mean, we've been through players, systems,
Chris,
you
we
name it,
had
so.
agonizing discussions about what to do with this game.
Yeah.
And
And I'm
it's
glad
a
I made
wild
it.
ride.
y'all
made
made
it.
it pull through. That's
Yeah.
like, if you want the candid opinion, y'all pulled it through.
Yep.
Like, Chris and I had a lot of tough talks about this show with the bumps it had.
Yeah.
Just glad we got here.
Chris,
It's an honor and a joy to be able to be here at the end,
Truly.
despite what the tears may say.
I know. And like
What happens
seriously,
here?
I just want to give a shout out to Chris because this was like your setting, your story, and
Yeah.
like you guys were like, oh, we helped keep the thing going, but like Chris, you're your characters and world and stuff. That's what made us feel invested and want to keep pushing through. So thank you.
Thank you.
There will never be another Mr. Micah. Let me
Yeah,
tell you.
thank you.
No
Thank
one
you
does
for
NPCs
bringing
like
us
you,
Mr.
bro.
Micah. It's
Or
true.
Nance,
Yeah.
you
Thank
know.
you.
They're gonna.
Bruh, no one
we'll
does
see. I
NPCs.
mean, I might have more up my sleeve. You don't know.
We'll see.
There are still a couple characters on my list to personally fist fight. We'll see how that goes.
We'll get there.
We'll get there.
Yep.
We'll get there.
So, yeah.
My heart.
Yeah. I've
Oh
been close
my.
a few times for sure.
Oh my goodness. I've never cried during a game or a stream, so thanks for that, everybody.
Thanks.
Mhm.
Specifically Kate and Sam. Thanks. And
Yeah,
Lucy.
thanks for that.
Yes. Yeah.
To AJ. You know what? All of you, thanks a lot for making me cry on stream.
Wait,
I did the equivalent of sobbing, where I like go into my glasses and wipe the tears away. That's
Go
my.
to the Creative Chimera chat in Discord and get back to me.
Oh yeah.
Oh
You're
no!
gonna
Don't
cry
make me
again.
cry
No,
more.
I'm scared.
You're gonna
Oh
cry
no! Oh.
Oh.
No.
Join the Discord. You can find the stuff that's making us happy.
Join our Discord.
Please, and donate to our wonderful cause. For
I cry. I cry.
I just don't have emotional energy right now.
Oh, that's really beautiful,
Oh.
Lucy.
I need to lay down.
Oh, try not to cry. Try to cry really hard.
I need to lay down now.
Oh.
Thank you also. I just do want to say thank you also to the fans as well. The people.
Yeah.
A lot of names in the chat I've been seeing over the course of 2 fucking years, and I just want to let you guys know in chat, y'all know in chat, I see it. I see you
We
when you're
do.
lurking. I see you when you're in chat. I see you when you're hanging
He's
around.
like Santa Claus, chat. He's gonna see you.
Yeah, I check that list and I check it twice. All right. So like, I just want you to know, we've appreciated this thing is also. We've appreciated your support. You know, y'all have showed up whenever we do fundraisers like this, and it's so nice to be able to say as a channel, like when we do this kind of shit, like we got people that will show up. Like we can say that because y'all show up, and I just want to let you know we see that and we love you for it. And you've been showing up for 2 fucking years, and we hope you keep showing up because we got really cool shit planned.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, this is definitely not the end of, it's the end of Agora's Bells for sure, but we've got some more fun
Yeah.
stuff planned.
If you love
so-
these fucking disasters, just
Oh,
you
yeah.
wait.
Yeah.
Oh, I could read just a slight wee bit from the next one if we want, but
Oh,
Spoiler?
Oh,
A
the
teaser?
I pulled it
teaser?
up.
A teaser?
A teaser trailer here on Chromatic Chimera for the
A post-credit
CCU.
scene?
Post credit.
Ooh.
Chris, are we okay with this post credit scene? All right.
Yeah, we'll do that, then we'll plug.
All right. Well, this is basically my plug, so fucking skip me when we get to that, okay?
You got it.
Sounds good.
Power sought, unbroken tether. 2 worlds became one. Separate realms woven into a single tapestry, mixing parts of each other, forming the lands of Everencia. And this is where the new campaign's home will be. Everencia. To the average inhabitant, the realm is a place steeped in both old magic and a burgeoning new technological rise in many of the regions. It's a world where the gods both conflict with each other and may sometimes interfere with the lives of the mortals around them. To the average inhabitant, this realm has always been Everencia, one realm. But it was only 30 years ago that the convergence took place. When the Wrong Turns had fought against Matriarch, in Matriarch's schemes, 2 separate worlds from 2 separate realities somehow were connected, and with the power of cosmic forces were combined to form one realm. These worlds were Everin of Steam Spell fame, and Talencia. You've been here for the past 2 years. And this is the Woven Realm. And to know this absolute truth, to know this, is to be clairvoyant. And that's the trailer right there. Boom.
That's a solid teaser trailer. We should clip that
Nice.
and tweet that. Yeah. So that's Alex's plug.
That's a good plug.
Yeah, sure. Sam, do you want to go next?
Fuck, I gotta follow that shit.
I can
All
follow
right.
it if you want.
Nah, I mean, I don't really care. I'm just being an ass. Hey, everyone. I am Sam. You can find me on Twitter at TheSamWisest. I'm the Samwise Game G here on Twitch. I am our accessibility director here at the Chromatic Chimera. And I was playing Chasing Shadows in the Moonlight, the rogue formerly known as Blossom on the Water, for these past 2 years. You can see me streaming next on Mondays. I'm here with the folks of No Initiative playing Quest the Soaring City. We're taking a short break. We're going to have a one-shot of some sort in the next 2 weeks, so keep your eyes out for that. But otherwise, season 4 premieres April 12th. And if you like podcasts as opposed to live streams, Quest the Soaring City is released in podcast form, and in a couple of months I will be releasing Curio Academy, which is a Masks podcast, which is very much a love letter, so to speak, to the worlds that Chris and Alex have made and the stories we have told. So check that out. We just did a recording, and there may have been a little cameo from a very special Shield mom in superhero form, so keep an eye out for that. Also, just real quick, we're still running our charity fundraiser for Multiple Sclerosis Awareness Month through Saturday. This Saturday, the 27th, 100% of proceeds from subs, bits, cheers, and any merch purchases will be donated to the National MS Society. We've got some more events coming up too, so just keep your eyes peeled, and if you're able to donate, we really appreciate it.
Real quick, if you are interested in seeing some of the creative process, or also just kind of want to catch some Woven Realm spoilers, players, I don't care. I can't hold on to spoilers.
We know.
That's what I'm doing on Friday night for the charity stream. So come hang out, maybe donate. You're gonna get to see some of the creative process, how I'm at least kind of plan my games. So dude, come check that out.
Cool. Thank you. Echo.
Hello, I am Echo/AJ, and I live here. I'm our creative director, and you can catch me for like every Wednesday going forward here as Constance the Chosen in Woven Realm. I'm going to basically just be Lucy's sidekick. It's gonna be great. It's gonna be great.
Awesome. Thank you. Kate.
Hi, I'm Kate. This was kind of my only campaign currently for Chromatic Chimera. I wasn't quite sure what I was going to do with myself, and then all of a sudden I found myself doing voiceover work. I kind of chronicle it on my regular Twitter at KatesD8s, but I now have an official voiceover Twitter called at KathleenHenryVO. I will be posting, I will officially be chronicling my journey through the adventures in the voiceover industry. Yay. And yeah, I hope that I will continue to live on Chromatic Chimera. You will never get me out of the Discord ever. So I will still be around.
Wouldn't want to.
You can pry me with my cold dead head.
We own you.
Wait, but we also have lungs, Kate. We understand we have lungs. We're not the void, so like
Gotcha.
we're gonna make sure we keep you around.
Cool, perfect. Love it. So yeah, I'll still be around. I will hopefully be able to guest on some things, and who knows, I may be in another campaign down the line. Just for the moment, I will be focusing on voiceover stuff. And then on my KatesD8s Twitter, I'm just going to yell about everything, including everything Chromatic Chimera is doing, because they do incredible things.
Thank you so much, Lucy.
Hi. Excuse me. It's been quite the night. I'm Lucy. You can find me on Twitter and Instagram at Bluebird Draws, and on TikTok at LucyBlue66. yeah, I'm also going to be here for the foreseeable future on Wednesdays. I will be playing Azara Solaris, the cleric, which I'm very, very excited for. Abby's not my sidekick, or Echo's not my sidekick. Echo's character is not my sidekick, just for the record.
Yes, she will be.
We'll see. Okay.
Unless you try to get rid of her.
Well, so maybe she will be my sidekick. We'll see. I'm a co-founder over on Fat Dragon Gaming, where I am a lot. I play BioShock on 2:30 Eastern on Saturdays, and I'm in just so many campaigns. But I do run Lady's Legacy, which is a 5e pirate themed campaign. It will be starting at 9:30 Eastern tomorrow night. It's every Thursday. Hop on by. Yeah, I think that's it for me.
All right, well, I'm Chris. I will also be playing in Woven Realms to begin, and then maybe slipping into that GM seat after Alex has had some fun with our characters. I will be playing Sarin Silverthorn. He's a half-elf, and he is a nice gentleman, and we got to meet him a little bit in the little prologue or the epilogue to the epilogue. So yes, he was the one telling stories to all the little children. And yeah, that's what I'm gonna be working on and focusing on. That's gonna one thing to note about that. I don't know if anyone said this yet. That's gonna be every Wednesday, so we're no longer gonna be doing like a rotating schedule. And it is gonna be weekly, so we have more fun times in Everencia. So
And the idea is like we can really dig into that character stuff that we really fell in love with these past 2 years. We really want to. That's like my main goal here, is to continue that, and not necessarily keep on referencing to the old campaign, but I want to continue the spirit where we tell these character-driven stories and really dig into character narratives. And maybe I kill you with NPCs that you made in your backstory. We'll see.
All aboard the angst train! All
Let's
aboard!
get sad. Let's get sad.
So literally,
We're gonna
like,
get real sad.
Very sad.
So, like, the Lord of Clairvoyance literally is just like most of them live a tortured existence. I told these players, make a tortured PC for me, please. Give me the
He
knife.
said, here's a knife, and I said, would you like some more?
I said yes, please.
So again, I'll reiterate one more time. Thank you, Five, so much, players, for
Thank
being
you,
here.
Chris.
You guys are my favorite people to play with. I always look forward to Wednesdays every single week, and I just really love you guys, and I'm looking forward to more stories with all of you in the future. So,
Yeah.
I guess
Before we sign off, can I put Trinket on one more time?
one
Yes!
Oh!
We need Trinky.
Okay, hang on.
We need one last trinket
one last
cam.
trinket cam.
One last Trinket Cam, the official Chromatic Chimera mascot.
Official is right, yeah.
Oh, there she is.
There she is.
Look
at
how
that
happy
baby.
she is.
And that is the perfect girl.
Oh.
I woke her up. She's mad at me.
The sweetest
No, don't do
Totas.
that, Trinky.
Oh,
Love you.
love you.
She looks so grumpy.
Oh.
You love one grumpy babe.
Oh, what a baby.
All right, with that, thank you so much, chat. Like Alex was saying, you guys are, crushing it in the fundraiser. You always are. Thank you so much. And we will see you in Woven Realms.
Yeah.
Bye-bye.
Thanks. Bye.
Bye.